Opening to the live streams, Chris's evil laugh.
He was watching his favorite Toguro scene on YouTube, and then he was like, "Best arc in anime history," and I was like, "It better be." It took up 2/3 of the series, and then he started laughing. Hey, yo, everybody! Welcome to the live. How's your day going? I see we've got 4 people here. I don't know where's the scissors. Oh, the scissors are right here.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
You don't need scissors? I wasn't talking to you. She was like, "No, I need the scissors." Like, yes, child. We already gave you the scissors.
I dropped my phone.
Tabby made the joke that Toguro is where Deku learned his percents, and Chris is very displeased.
I mean, like, it's true that boy has no...
It's so true, though. No, look. You're not there yet. Later on in the series, Toguro's percents get pretty special. You've only seen him at 20% of his power.
The coughs make it look like I'm laughing, but I'm actually just trying to cough.
Hi, everybody. Yes, like the stream. Yo, it is Candy and Fishy.
I'm here too.
CB's also here.
You know,
you're like Matt at this point, just kind of like you're
don't
like
compare me
fixtures.
to that creamy peanut butter plebeian.
Okay, Sam, I gotta ask a dumbass question.
That's fine.
So me and CB are we just staying on the StreamYard page, or do we migrate over to the YouTube channel?
No,
how does it work?
We just stay here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can pull up YouTube in another tab and then like do the pop-out chat, and then you'll be able to see the chat. And sometimes the YouTube pop-up updates first, and sometimes StreamYard's chat updates first. So it's kind of like a gamble. But yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can get that going. Except I'm doing it on a desktop, and I don't know if it'll like pop up. I just kind of have a feeling it's gonna just like hijack everything again.
Oh, hold on.
I can just keep up StreamYard. Leave it at that.
Excuse me. Yeah, the pop-up chat and keeping StreamYard and the pop-up chat up is more for hosts.
Okay, so
but I sent you the link to the pop-out chat.
Oh, thank you.
You can do that I forget about sometimes. Yes, Kitty.
Where'd it go?
Was that a human or a cat?
That was a Roxy.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Why'd you try scrolling down, Candy? Yay.
Oh, look. The plebeian.
I mean, that's
here.
Oh, okay.
I clicked on Audra. I was like, what did Audra do to you?
No.
Yay, I see chat now. Yay.
Woohoo. Hey, Audra prefers to have StreamYard up personally, but why not both? What's up, y'all? Just CB shit talking you before you got here. Nothing,
lies. There's no evidence.
Hey, what you doing?
Hi, Steeg.
It's a girl full power. Oh my god, it's a workout t-shirt. Toguro goes plus ultra.
No, he's a bad guy. He's not allowed to say that.
He's a complicated guy. He's rather complicated. Hello. So for everybody just joining us, and for those who don't know, CB has heard me mention Yu Yu Hakusho quite a bit throughout the year. So she asked me what it was about. I told her what it was about, and she's like, I must now watch this. And so we started watch partying it together.
That's how I spent my pseudo spring break. That was my last week.
We are 2 episodes away from being done with season 1, and therefore that means we are about to enter the Dark Tournament arc, which for anybody who knows Yu Yu Hakusho knows that arc is it's a third of the anime. Like a solid. It starts in season 1, ends in season 3. So how was everybody's weekend?
There's a cat lurking behind you.
As always. And we are at 5 minutes in, so Candy, CB, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Candy froze, I think.
Oh,
or
no.
She's really good at not blinking.
Sorry about that. My internet likes to fart.
It's fine. All right, so just go ahead and introduce yourself then.
Okay. Hello. My name is Candy Glynn Wilder. I am a fantasy writer and filmmaker, and my current project is a contemporary fantasy novel called Mark of the Champion. And occasionally I also do film projects. Sometime I'll be back to shooting videos, but right now I am going to be helping my husband with his film projects. So, hello everyone. You know, there's more I was going to say, but I'll say it later.
That happened. CB, I just need you to know I was like playing with this glass and I accidentally got this on my pants now. And they are fuzzy pants. So now I'm like,
my spilling has infected you. Right before the stream, I spilled hot chocolate all over my desk. But it's cool now.
This milk chocolate kiss soda.
The chocolate drinks are coming for us.
Hello, tiny human.
The revolution of the chocolate drinks. Beware.
It drinks like a mixed chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Does it now?
I love that assessment.
Just know when I post the Tokyo unboxings, do not trust anything she says about anything because she just kind of repeats what everybody else says. There's one point when Gabriel's like, my chest, or it hurts my chest. And Roxy goes, it hurts my chest. And I'm like, why does it hurt your chest? And she's like, I don't know. Gabriel said it.
It's Gabriel's chest.
her opinion is the most trustworthy.
She trusts her brothers, you know?
Yes. All right. So CV, introduce yourself. Yes, who are you?
24601. I am CB Ferrenz, young adult fantasy author, teenager, college student. And on my channel, I talk about those 3 things and how they come together, or rather, don't. I make skits, I do live streams, I give semi-reliable writing advice, and it's okay, reliable. And yeah, that's basically it. Oh, I'm studying, or plan on studying film. Yeah, that's why I'm here. The candy.
And hey, yo, welcome back to my channel. I'm writing mom Samantha L. Nasset. On this channel, I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer parent things. I host live streams like these on Mondays, where sometimes we talk about a specific topic, and other times we just do writing sprints. I will eventually, hopefully in May, get back to posting Wednesday videos, but does not look like that will happen for April. I've been scripting a lot though, so yeah. I also have a Ko-fi coffee down below if you would like to help donate and support the channel.
Give some money.
Yes. And I have a newsletter if you would like to keep
Give us your cash.
Yeah.
I have a newsletter if you would like to keep up with all things Sam, which you can find via my website link, samanthallnasset.com. I think... Oh, I hit 500 subs at some point in April.
Yay!
So I will start to celebrate that. I'm going to start organizing a World of Darkness campaign, which will be fun because I think half the people have never roleplayed before. So
I've roleplayed, just not World of Darkness. So.
Oh, okay. And yeah, I think that's about everything. I heard it's the turd of the anime and was confused with your gleeful expression. Some people in the dark tournament. Some people. Stieg also recently spilled things. Spilled triplets. If you're referring to the small child who appeared, that one was Roxy. There are 3 of them. Yay. Okay. So today we are going to. Yes, child, mommy is on high.
CB, I don't know if there's ever been a live stream where you haven't knocked over something or dropped something or.
To be
I
fair,
think it's your signature move, you know.
I planned on that being much more successful than it was.
To be fair, CB's ratio of spill to non-spill is the dark tournament. It's 1/3. So 2/3 of the time she does not.
Yeah, that's okay.
CB's like, yeah, that's how we're gonna measure it. All right, so today we are going to be talking about TV and film, several different aspects, primarily behind the scenes stuff. And we've got Candy here, who has an actual degree in education and accolades. And then we have me here, who's studied drama, which included pre-TV and film and TV and film and other things. So sort of got experience and accolades, and then
I took a producing class last semester, so
Stevie's got a class as well. Yes, child. I'm about to send this one upstairs. Oh, you can use shaving cream on a mirror that's fogged up, and it cleans it. Yep, I was aware of this trick. Thank you. My child's now giving me tips to not fog up my mirror when I shower.
It's important information.
Yes, happy homemaker tips.
Good job, CB. You just tore that one down like it insulted your
Hey, it didn't get torn down. That is a very real possibility.
Oops, sorry, I saw an arm and went there. I mean, it's fine. Even like when they go to school, all the teachers, when they saw Gabriel, they were like, "You're Michael's brother." And then when Roxy started, they were like, "You must be related to Michael and Gabriel." And
that
so I'm like,
happened
yes.
With my big brother and I, because it's great when you like show up a place and like, you look just like your older brother, and I'm like,
I was the oldest, so I didn't have to deal with that.
And then my little brother is like the exact of my big brother, so
I'm obsessed with this hair journey you're going through now.
Ta-da!
Right, so we're gonna hit on Candy's first point. I forgot your name for a moment. I was like, "Is it Fish? Fish is not right."
Yeah, close enough. I'm Aunt Fishy on Cyborg Central, just in case anybody didn't know what that was about.
Let me tell you before I know we're like 13 minutes in. We'll start in a moment, I promise. It took me far too long to connect that Candy and Fishy were the same person. I was just like, I don't remember what it was, but one day I was reading something in Cyborg Central that Aunt Fishy said, and I was like, wait a minute. That Candy? So
can it be?
I don't know why it took so long. It just did. All right, so documentaries, the easiest way to break into film.
Yeah, that is one thing that I learned. I went to, well, first I took a couple of years at Cal State, no, not Cal State Fullerton. Wind the clock back a little bit. When I decided to go back to school to get my degree, I started off at Fullerton Community College, and they had classes on TV production and history of media and that sort of thing. A few years later after that, I transferred into Cal State Fullerton, and one of the first classes that I took was a class on documentaries. And a documentary is probably one of the easiest ways to break into film, because they might not be as glamorous and whiz bang as a multi-million-dollar feature film, but if you make a documentary that really affects people and hits home, you can build a lot of cred with that. And there have been documentary filmmakers that have gone on to be feature filmmakers, or they find out that they're just in that groove and they continue with it. The nice thing about documentaries is that usually you can have a minimal crew and not as much equipment as a full-blown feature-length film would take. And if you find a subject that you feel passionate about and you really want people to know about, it's a lot easier to do with a documentary film than a full-blown fictional adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like with a documentary, people explain you to heavily be on that subject and to things. When you try to address certain things in media, sometimes people will be like, you're pandering, or you're like pushing a narrative, or this or that.
Now, are you talking about documentaries, or are you talking about, what do you mean with the pandering and stuff?
Oh, I'm saying that like when you do a documentary and you have a message that you're trying to get across or a subject that you're trying to talk about, like people expect that from a documentary. But if you try to like put that in like,
in a fictional setting,
in a fictional setting,
then it's like, politically correct police or whatever terminology they're using these days. Yeah,
keyboard warriors.
Yeah,
I actually think keyboard warriors is out of date, but it's one of my favorites.
It's kind of a cool phrase.
Right?
Bring it back. It's retro. Everything old is new again.
Have you worked on documentaries before, Candy?
Actually, I have not. I took the class. Everybody had to take the class, but I was more interested in narrative and fiction. There was my one passion project that I wanted to get done, which I did, which I finally completed my final year of school. But before that, I had to complete 2 student films, and that was an adventure in and of itself, because we're Cal State Fullerton, we're not Chapman University or any of the other prestigious film schools. So there were like 3 classes of 25 students per class for the for making of films with actual film, and each of those classes of 25, between us, we had to share 7 ancient 16mm Aeroflex cameras that were old, and pieces would fall off of them.
Oh, no.
And we had to shoot our movies with those, and we were using real film, actual film. It's probably the last time that the film schools let them use film instead of digital.
For context, what years would this have been?
It would have been around 2009, 2010, something like that.
Okay.
It was happening.
Wow.
I graduated in 2011. It took me 26 years to get my 4-year degree.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So there was a lot of emergency field work done on the equipment. Fortunately, my husband is a really good mechanic, and he actually took these old beat up Aeroflexes, and he'd go in and he'd tighten all the nuts and screws and actually get the things to work. And we do all sorts of fun things, like we would have to change the rolls of film out, and you can't just do that in direct sunlight. It would spoil all the celluloid. Yeah. So we had to work in I can't remember. I think it's called a black bag. It's like you have to put the camera in the bag and zip it up, and they had the special part where you put your hands in, and you had to open up the camera and change the roll of film inside the bag without looking in it, and put the old it was so much fun. Really, no, it was So I'm not sure where we started with this, but basically, yeah, we went through a lot of field work with old-time equipment. But, you know, you're probably going to have to do some sort of maintenance on anything, even if it's state-of-the-art.
Yeah, and when I took broadcast journalism at my high school, which I want to say it was 2005, 2006. There's a lot of my high school that I kind of blocked out. But we weren't using film, but we used not cassette tape. You know the size that's like in between cassette tape and VHS? I know CB's like tape. What?
I know what a
But it was
cassette
those
tape is.
ones. So
Tape? Film? What?
I've looked at my dad's old camera.
But even then, because the tapes have limited room, so it's basically like get your footage on the computer, and then rewind, tape over everything. So
I'm glad I'm learning this in the modern age.
Well, you never know when it'll come in handy. And there are a lot of directors who still insist on working with film.
Yeah,
because it has sort of a richer quality to it. Maybe even a little more, I don't know, dreamlike, I guess, is sort of analogous, but
there is definitely a different quality to when you record on film or tape versus digital. And I'm not necessarily I'm not sitting here going, yes, it's so much just like listening to a vinyl instead of a CD. No, it's just different. And for like different movies and stuff, it's
going for a certain vibe.
Yeah, it gives that like very homey vibe of the genre that just adds to it sometimes. But then other times it would make it look cheesy. So it really depends. Sometimes
it depends on the project and what it's used for. And I had something else, and that went right out the window. Anywho,
that's me every 2 seconds. Yeah, hey Janice says 3 of her favorite.
Jenna!
The PC police. But I like Keyboard Warrior. I get a sword, I assume.
You know what, Stieg? I don't have to go to museum. I know old people.
Oh, okay. Film is more forgiving with makeup and hair. Yeah, there's that too. Like HD will be like, so you had a pimple on your cheek 4 years ago? Let me just capture that scar for you.
Yeah, with the short film that we shot last semester, my character was like very dramatic, and so I had big eye makeup, and we spent a lot of time trying to make sure it was as exactly the same as we could get it from day to day, because we like shot over like 3 weekends for one day in the film, so there were different scenes, but it was really rough because like my hair was growing. Like I have curly hair. It doesn't go the same day to day.
I know about trying to match makeup. The main project that I did, well, I was working on it during school. It wasn't a school project. It was my own project. It was a Star Wars fan film called Anakin's Assignment. And it wasn't like set in space or anything like that. It was this quirky little comedy that was set on Earth. And we had this fantastic actor named Jack who played the part of Anakin. And the thing is that you have to take pictures of what the makeup looks like so that you can replicate it the next day, especially if you aren't able to hire a makeup artist. On a couple other projects we were, but for this one we just sort of flying solo. So I still have my notebook of all the pages of what the makeup looked like, and you have to take pictures of where all the props were so that if they get moved, you'll know where to move them back. There's so many details that go into planning and shooting.
Yeah, it was really
any
cool.
Kind of project.
I think the assistant director, she had like her iPad, and there was like so many file folders, and she just like pulled them up, and you're like, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, how do you know that? She just turns it around and has a picture of me. I'm like, when'd you take that
picture? Yeah, I saw the Anakin. I watched the ones on your website, and I found the Anakin one really funny. And as I was watching it, Chris like comes in the room and he's like, "That's a really good Yoda." And I was like, "Yeah, right." And then he goes, "That voice is a really good Luke." And I'm like, "Honey, he's Anakin." And he went, "Oh."
Well, they're related, so we'll give him a pass, you know?
I was like, you know what? Most people hated the actual, like, Anakin, so, like, maybe they just based it more off of Luke. Either way, I dug it. It was very entertaining.
Thank you. We worked our butts off on that. We were really fortunate because at the time we had a studio that was in this industrial complex. And it's just, so basically it was just like a mini warehouse, and we just shoved all our stuff in there because we just live in a mobile home. We don't have a garage or anything like that. And that was where we shot, both of our student films. I call it our student films because even though Fred wasn't going to school, I never would have got those movies done without him. He was like 75% of being able to make Anakin's Assignment as well as the other two films. And yeah, and I just ran out of thoughts again. It's like I get on a roll and then poof, it all evaporates into air.
That's so cool.
It happens.
Yeah.
So at least you finish a sentence. Sometimes I just do it mid-sentence and then I'm like this.
Yeah.
Pretty sure my neighbor is roller skating in her room.
Oh, fun.
I was like, what is that sound?
Yeah, that's what one does in a college storeroom on a Monday. Okay, so sometimes Milo Note and I have disagreements because I like click on my little note section and it's like, yes, let's center it. And I'm like, no, I wanted to read the top.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah,
sure.
go ahead.
What's your favorite part of the film making process and why?
I love all of it. No, the one thing I really like is when I'm directing and somebody comes up with something that I wouldn't have thought of on my own that really makes makes the whole thing so much better. Like, for example, Sam's seen the Anakin's Assignment. So do you remember the part where Anakin's playing with his the little toy starfighter, and then he dives bombs that he just goes in and goes and dives bombs a picture? Well, he improvised that in a rehearsal, and it was something that I never would have thought of. And I'm like, yeah, let's go for that, because that is damn funny. And we put that in, and I think there were a couple of other things, but it's those moments of serendipity that pop up. And I always say being a director is like 95% control freak and 5% fuck it, because it's in that 5% that all the magic happens, that all the good stuff that accents it and just brings it to that next level comes in. So yeah, I love it all, but I particularly love those moments. It's because not only that, it's a collaboration between you and your actors and your crew. And that's what I really love about it.
Some of my favorite behind the scenes trivia for like movies and stuff is when actors had improv lines for either just because they were improving. Sorry, Chris distracted me and my sentence died. All right, so like the actors are just like, improving or goofing around, or somebody messed up, but everyone stays in character, so they just kind of keep going. And it's like, you know what? That was better than what we were going to do anyway. So I love those kind of behind the scenes stories.
Yeah, me too. Fox picked up on my and why. Just like the teacher question. Like,
Yes, and why.
you can't answer with one word. And why?
All right. So for a TV and film plus kind of writing comparison, I'm familiar with the differences between short stories and novels. What would you say the difference between short subject films and full-length feature films are? And what is a short subject film?
Okay, a short subject film is any original motion picture that is 40 minutes or less, including all credits. It could be documentary, horror, drama, comedy, fantasy, long-form music video, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. The difference between short subject and full-length films is that a short subject is kind of like someone coming up to you and saying, hey, I got to tell you about this amazing thing that happened. And then they give you a 10-minute summary, usually with some kind of grabber at the end. Whereas a full-length feature it's more like a novel in that you get much more information about the scene, the plot, the characters and situations as the film goes on. Typically, you don't just get the grabber, but you also get all the information as to why that grabber happened. So murder mysteries are a classic example of this. And yeah, I should know how to. I should learn how to end sentences too, Sam. You're not the only one.
Brains, how do they work?
Yeah,
they're a mystery.
So it sounds like it's identical to the differences between short stories and novels then.
Just about, yeah.
How about this question? What's the difference?
Sorry, just instead of how about this one? My question wasn't good enough for you, Stevie.
I'm expanding my
See if you can answer this one.
It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead with what you were going to ask.
I'm pretty sure this is one of your questions. I don't know. This is in my mind. Oh well, it's your fault. I'm not sure. This is abroad. I'm not even sure who I'm asking this question to. Difference between short stories and short films, and then features and novels that you've noticed in your own writing or experience.
Well, the nice thing about writing.
Sorry, I don't know what Sam's holding.
It's a good thing that there was that sort of image to fill in the gap where I just stopped in mid-sentence again. So I appreciate that, Sam. Well, script writing is a lot of fun for me because you can just bring it down to basics, which is dialogue, action, maybe an occasional note about how a character is feeling. But a lot of it is it's described visually and with audio, which is, people's speech, the setting, where they're at, but it doesn't go into how they're thinking. He's thinking this, he's doing that. I mean, there might be occasional bits of that in screenplays, but a screenplay is just to describe what's on the screen. So it's a lot easier because you don't have to put in all that other stuff that you would normally find in a short story or a novel. So I love script writing. There's a project that I am working on that has some script writing in it, even though that's not the only element. But I'm using it as a way to present history rather than just, a 50-page prologue or whatever. With script writing, you can just get the details out just super fast. And even if the people aren't familiar with how a script reads, usually once you get into it and you just follow the dialogue and a description of what's happening, you can move pretty quickly with it. So I don't know if that answered any question at all, but that's what I got.
No, yeah, I definitely, I've noticed when I haven't really written a script or like screenplay or anything, I've like tried. And one thing I've noticed is I keep trying to control everything. Like every single action and facial expression of the characters. And I'm like, wait, that's not my job.
Yeah, there's a thing of where there are complaints about screenwriters who are trying to direct the director, and really you're giving them a blueprint more than instructions on how to build an entire house. And a lot of directors will say, well, I don't want to shoot this because whoever wrote this is dictating me how the film should go, and I need the flexibility because I might be able to do something a little better or more efficiently and tell the story better.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get. Oh, by the way, chat. If you have questions, it's a Let's Talk, so go ahead and throw all your questions that are related to the subject. I know you sarcastic motherfuckers. Don't take what I said out of
What color is the
out of
sky?
intention.
But Sam.
Yeah, I'm prepping to stage manage a show, and I get the joy of taking all of the notes for live theater. I love directing. It's 90% control freak, 10% letting people what to do. Audra's 5% less control freak than Candy. Let it be known.
Yes, I am extreme control freak.
Thanks, Jenna. I never would have
kill you
figured
in
that
the
one out.
Thunderdome.
I just really thank you for the explanation, Jenna. Much appreciated.
I had a question that I was going to build off of, and I don't remember it because I had to adjust my volume.
The horror.
Hopefully, I'll remember it at some point.
Do you think shortbread would be good being dipped in hot chocolate?
Yes, but then again, I think everything's good dipped in hot chocolate. So. Jenna says, "You're welcome." She's very helpful. I'm gonna try for like 10 seconds more to try to remember what I was gonna say.
Features.
Nope, it's gone.
Short films.
Excuse me. Oh, setting. So one thing I know is in short stories, especially like the shorter the story, the less vital it is to explain all of setting, and so you just gotta like pick and choose what part of setting matters to the world building for a short story or a flash fiction. To the point I've like read some flash fictions that just have basically no setting at all. Do you think there's anything like that with the short feature films, or because they're more visual media, so
yeah, and I don't know because short films they vary so widely that fair. It's kind of hard to apply that to everything, And one of the things that I left out was animation, and didn't even consider animation in there. So we'll just throw that into the pot and
just throw in some cartoons.
Yeah,
stop motion. Is stop motion animation? Or is that
it is.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I put it in the right category.
Motion animation, so I would say that's a big yes.
That's fair.
I've noticed in the short films that I watch for like classes and stuff that it is amazing, by the way. I'm like actual chills when I had the first bite. So I've noticed that there's a lot less, I don't know, time, obviously, but like exploration of character backstories and like world building and like all of that. Everything's broken down and it's focused much more on an individual aspect of the writing, rather than like how it all comes together. Or yeah, that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It did to me, but
okay,
all right, so classic films and visual language. Candy.
Oh yeah, hold on, I gotta scroll down and make it look like I'm coming off,
Candy's like, I
contemporaneously. Okay.
The advantage of having the points ahead of time. Preparation!
I have them, but now I can't find them.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if you've had any classes yet as to like language of film or anything like that. Okay. Well, one good thing you can do is you can get a jump on all that by watching some of the pioneers that really developed a rich visual language that people have been building on from there. It's kind of good to see where the foundations are, and you can see that they were the root for a lot of things you see today. Like, for example, if you watch the original Beauty and the Beast, Jean Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast, it's
you
in
not-
French, but it has subtitles, and the story, of course, is
Beauty and the Beast.
it's a it's a standard story, but it does substantially differ from the Disney version. But there are a lot of wonderful tricks, camera tricks that Jean Cocteau came up with to make that movie. And there are a lot of visual things like arms coming out of the walls holding candlesticks and moving as Belle goes by, and and things along that sort, and just the black and white photography, how it's used, how shadow and light are used. And really everyone should watch the original Beauty and the Beast, but I will warn you that it's kind of, a lot of it is 2 hours of the Beast just wandering around the castle going, Belle, 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 do not look at me, Belle. But, you just keep that in mind. But when you watch it, it really is beautifully done and rich, and it's a good thing to have in your memory. Other films with really, really nice cinematography and just gorgeous surroundings. Anything by a pair of filmmakers from England. They called themselves the Archers. Their names were Michael Powell and is it Edmund, something like that, Pressburger. And they yeah, Powell and Pressburger. Emmerich, that was his name, Emmerich Pressburger. They made these absolutely gorgeous films in Technicolor, early 4-strip Technicolor. It's just that real vibrant Technicolor that you see in old movies.
Yeah.
There's the first one that Fred and I saw when we were researching this. It's called what was it?
Stieg is very hyped about the candle arms.
Black Narcissus.
He knows what you're talking about because of Lindsay Ellis's Phantom of the Opera video essay.
Oh, yeah. Well, they must have ripped that off from Jean Cocteau. But Black Narcissus was the one that we saw. It's based in a monastery in Tibet with a lot of nuns and just gorgeous cinematography and amazing story and all of that. Let's see, what else did they do? Oh, now of course I'm completely blanking. Oh, there's another movie they did called The Red Shoes. It's real famous. It's a ballet-centered story. Personally, I hated the ending, but it's still worth watching the whole the whole show. And it's worth it to look into a couple of Bergman films. I know a lot of people might be confused by Ingmar Bergman, but if you get that vocabulary, that visual vocabulary of what I don't know what a good name would be, like the Old Masters or something like that. That would give you a real good foundation, because if you have those visuals in mind, then you'll know how to apply them to certain scenes, or it would help in the construction of your scenes and scenarios to make it a more compelling story. And I really hope that I sounded sincere in saying that.
My dad and I have been working through the American Film Institute. I think that's it. Like top 100 movies or whatever, like the ones you have to see. And we've watched quite a few of them. Yeah, one of them, like The Godfather, and I was very disappointed. Like so disappointed in that movie. I had so many feelings because we analyze it afterwards, because my dad, he's like the writer background too, but no film background, so he's like learning it because he's interested in it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of what is it? Criterion Collection has a lot of the classic movies and the weird movies and the weird classic movies, and that's a good resource. And sometimes you can get, Fred and I check out a lot of things from the local library, and we check out a lot of films that 99% of the people probably wouldn't see. And yeah, anywhere that you can go to find those films, it only does you some good.
I have another question.
Yes.
Sorry, it's a quick one. So
No, it's
I've
fine.
noticed that in talking to other writers, that when we read, sometimes, a lot of the time, that we end up like analyzing the book, like more than the average person would, like how they're like, oh, that was a really good sentence, like stuff like that, like, oh, their plot structure, character development, that kind of stuff. Do you, when you watch films, go like, that shot, mwah, and stuff like that?
Sometimes, and okay, there's some shots that absolutely blow me away, and they're not always, just like the regular, sunset or whatever, although those are nice. But there's one shot in particular, and it is a camera special effects trickery shot, but I absolutely love it. It's a movie called Contact. It's a Robert Zemeckis film. It stars Jodie Foster. I don't know. Have either of you seen it?
Nope, but I know the name Jodie Foster.
Contact.
I've seen it, but it was so long ago. I can't tell you anything.
Okay. So Contact is about this scientist who finds a signal broadcast from space, and they're able to decode it, and from there they get these instructions on how to make this machine to go and visit the aliens who sent this code. Yeah. Well, in the course of the movie, there's a flashback where the character's name is Ellie, and she has a flashback to when she was young, and her and her father were going to go out on the porch and look through the telescope and gaze at some stars, only he had a heart attack. So it has this shot of her saying, I'm going to go get the medicine. And so you see the camera, she's facing the camera, she's running up the stairs to go get the medicine. And as she comes closer and closer, all of a sudden the camera view, it turns into a bathroom mirror. And she reaches for the bathroom mirror and opens it up to get the medicine. So it's like you were thinking, well, it was just this camera coming up, right? And then you're thinking, oh, it's a reflection in the bathroom mirror. It's like, wait, no, how can the bathroom mirror be all the way down at the bottom of the stairs and, show her as she's coming up the steps? So shots like that where I just like, what happened? I love those because it gave more weight to the story and
gives it like a trippy feeling.
Yeah, and it's just like, how did they do that? I'm going to have to step away for just a second because my mom keeps calling. I got to tell her that I'm on a live stream.
Okay.
So hold on just a minute. Chat amongst yourselves.
My favorite, I love every time there's a shot in something where it's like a continuous shot. I just, for some reason, continuous shots makes me so happy. I watched the movie 1917, and that entire movie is continuous shots. So they like, it's 2.5 hours that tricking you that it keeps going. And that like the camera never stops, so you're always with them. And it is just, it made me so happy. And then someone made a 2020 version of that where they did a continuous shot of them, like it was like COVID version. It was really funny. But it was like really well done. It was amazingly well done. So it's on YouTube. You guys should check it out. But
yeah. So going back a little bit to like what Candy was saying about watching all of those older films and like, it's, I believe it's along the same lines as with any media, you study the foundation of the medium and then you learn why things work the way they work, how they've evolved, how things have changed. And because it helps give you a more like comprehensive idea of it as a whole, it helps you to create things in that medium more effectively. Like if you know what the visual cues usually say, or what the angles are usually telling people and everything, how your audience has been pre-programmed to understand these things and how that may or may not have changed over time.
It's like you have to learn the rules so know when to break them.
Yes. It's like one of my mottos with writing outlines and learning things. So Audra, she does this with costumes. I knew what the context was, and then I started reading the sentence, and now I can't remember it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that was the analyzing and taking apart every bit of the media
Yes.
when you consume
Thank
it. I remembered.
Yay.
Okay,
Chris
what I
got-
miss?
Talking about love of continuous shots and then understanding the roots of a media.
Yeah, I was saying that just like with any media, watching all of the old things and learning why what worked helps build that solid understanding and foundation, so you
Mhm.
can know the rules before you break them. Contact the movie. Where's Katya when you need her? I know that shot, Candy. It's so damn cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Steve knows what I'm talking about.
Stieg and
1970,
Candy are just like on the same wavelength.
right? I should have just had Stieg sit in for me.
I thought you were gonna say be guest, and I was like, well, okay, I can leave. Stieg
No!
can be here.
Me. I'm just very out of it today. I wish I had taken more film classes in college.
Yeah, I
Film
wish
is-
my school offered more film classes, especially because I'm trying to be a
For your degree?
filmmaker. Yeah, they have one screenwriting class in the fall semester, and like it's only in fall semesters. But I was a first semester student, and I entered in the fall, and I wasn't allowed to take any film classes because I wasn't qualified. It was so sad.
Oh.
So I don't know if this is what Audra means, but I do know that using a continuous shot can be risky because it gives viewers mind fatigue. Like cuts and stuff help refresh your mind.
It was about me remembering the context earlier with costumes, but yeah. No, like at the end of 1917, you were exhausted. Like it feels like you were just like there with that. It's fantastic. It's a great. That movie. Like the plot is like yeah whatever, but
with
the camera work is so good.
With my chronic fatigue, can't imagine enjoying something that makes me tired. No.
I think something like that. If I got up the guts to watch it, because I'm actually really squeamish, so I'm very selective on the movies I watch.
Maybe we should.
But you know, if I did, sometimes I'll divide it up into parts. Like when we watched Lawrence of Arabia, which is a movie I absolutely love. It's 4 hours long. It is worth every damn minute.
It's a long ass movie.
Yeah, well, but we had to break it up into 3 or 4 sessions to get all the way through it. But oh wow, was it worth it? I mean,
whenever I go to watch
sand never looks so gorgeous.
The sand is pretty there. Yeah. I to this day, whenever I'm talking to somebody and they're like, "Yeah, it's a 2-length movie. That's really long," and I'm like, "What? Like, is that not the average length of a movie?" So
I was gonna say something, but then you guys are gonna make fun of me for being young.
You made fun of me for being old, TV.
No, it's different. I was gonna make everyone feel weird.
Well, now I need to know.
I feel weird anyhow, so go
either
for it.
Say it or DM me. I'm immune to feeling weird.
Okay, I'm sorry. It doesn't make. Okay, chat. Just be harassed. They force me harass.
Chat, however, may harass you.
So this is really old movie.
A really old movie. Okay.
It's my dad's favorite movie. It's the Robin Hood movie.
Men in Tights?
No.
The Kevin Costner one?
Yes, I think so. I remember
Kevin Costner
one. I don't know. It's the he walks on
Prince of Thieves or something like that.
Yeah, he walks on the wall in Scotland. What's the wall in Scotland called?
I don't know.
There's like a whole. My dad when he went to Scotland, he walked on the. I mean, that's illegal. He went to the wall where they filmed the scene and stuff like that. And the movie I remember is really really long because we had to flip the disc over.
That is some old tip right there.
That brings back memories having to But having to like switch discs too. Oh
yeah, Jenna just said isn't one of the worst movies of all time. I don't think it's a good movie. I think he has like nostalgic
she's
stuff
like,
for
that's
it.
my dad's trash.
Yeah, for me, I have nostalgic stuff because it's my dad's favorite movie, and I watched a bunch as a small child. But it's a fun movie. Like, I don't know.
So what's everyone's favorite movie?
Oh, man,
Okay,
that's
I will
a
go
loaded
first.
question. Okay, I'll go second.
All right, my favorite movie is Hocus Pocus.
Sorry, Steve just looked up the year the movie came out.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
But yeah, my favorite movie is Hocus Pocus. Yes, the one with Bette Midler.
The hair?
Sarah
The
Jessica
witches?
Parks. Yes, the witches. And who was the third witch?
Kathy Najimy and Sarah Jessica Parker.
So I loved that movie so much as a kid but I was convinced that Thackeray Binks's name was Zachary. So my cousins, he's the older one right after me. I'm the oldest, and then it's him. His name is Zachary because I named him after the cat, even though I misnamed him. So, and to this day, it's just one of my favorite movies. I watch it every year on Hallows Eve. It's just, I love it so much.
Well, I have a two-part answer because I feel like, okay, there's your favorite movie, and then there's the best movie you've ever seen. My favorite movie is a bunch of movies. I'm a massive Star Wars geek, so don't at me. I love them all. And, and I'm watching the Disney Plus shows and everything else. I'm a total geek. But the best movie I've ever seen, and it's still the reigning champion, even with all the others, the reigning champion is Harold and Maude. I absolutely adore that movie. My husband introduced me to it. It is just wonderful, crazy, funny, poignant, and the ending to that movie. I mean, I'm choking up just thinking of the ending to that movie. It's a life-affirming, wonderful movie that just takes all the downer, depressive stuff and just kicks it right in the butt. So
I need to rewatch it because I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid.
Oh, watch it again. It's
never
so
seen
good.
it.
Harold and Maude, mandatory viewing. Anything Hal Ashby made is great, but Harold and Maude is...
We are shocked and surprised. You've never seen it, CB. Very shocked. All the surprise.
Very stunned.
So what is your favorite... Wait, CB.
You know
is your favorite movie Spider-Man Homecoming or Far From Home?
No, neither one. You got this wrong on the trivia.
I will never get it right. So what is your favorite movie?
You started saying the first syllable. That's why I was like, oh my god, you're gonna get it. My favorite movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Yeah.
I got there.
1, hot people. 2, Captain America. 3, it's really, I love the elevator fight scene. The choreography is so good. And then he just threw the wall. I love that movie so much.
It's so easy for me to forget how thirsty you are.
I was going to say 4 hot people, but I'm going to skip past that and go number 5.
Let me tell you. So my little sister Tabby is aromantic and asexual, but still acts like the thirstiest bitch in the world. So listen, like doing a watch party, watching an anime with her and CB is hilarious, especially since me and Tabby originally saw it when we were around the characters' ages, but now the characters are closer to CB's ages, and Tabby's just like, I can't drool over any of you. You're all babies.
But the one that she does drool over, I view as a baby.
It's funny. He's actually 500, but CB keeps going, he's
child. He is my child, and I love him. He's so short, though.
Short people can be old.
Not him. He looks like he's like 12, okay?
He looks 14, if anything. But later on, he actually looks like older, so
then he can be less of a child, a slightly larger child.
I thought you said a slightly larger child. I was like, what?
Well, his shirt's always off, so
Right, but after I started writing, I also pick movies apart. I'm very particular about framing. That's I can't consume media without appreciating and being annoyed by some part of it. Doesn't matter what the media is. Back to the Future.
No,
the movie with the perfect script. Back to the Future is pretty good. I forgot Audra was talking about the Robin Hood movie, and I was like, yes, I am the 90s one. I was, in fact, the one born in the 90s.
I was born in the 2000s.
Really
I'm
old.
I'm going to say when I was born.
Okay, that's like 30 years ago.
Look,
that's a long time.
Well, no, it is 30 years now.
That is 30 years ago, okay?
So, everybody, I need you to know that the Zaxby's chicken franchise came into existence in August 1990. Therefore, I came into the existence in the same month and year as a chicken store or as a chicken fast food place that I really love. I just need the world to know this.
Destiny.
Okay. Destiny, yes. Oh, Men in Tights Satired, Kevin Costner's. Oh, I did not know that. I love Men in Tights even more now. We're men in tights.
Yeah, because I always remember when I flip the thing over, it goes to a shot where it's Marion walking down like a cliff face thing, like in the forest on the way to their camp. And for some reason, that's one of 2 shots in the entire movie that's just seared into my brain. So probably the amount of times we put it in on the wrong side and they would play and we'd be like, oh shit, no, this is in a dungeon.
I watched Hocus Pocus for the they keep teasing me about Hocus Pocus the sequel. Like for the past 5 years, they're all like, Hocus Pocus 2 coming soon. And I'm like, when is soon? This is half of my oldest child's life now. This sequel has been coming out.
I haven't seen Hocus Pocus yet. I keep meaning to, but I
What?
I'm sorry.
You're gonna watch. If I have to put my DVD in my computer, I have the DVD.
I have nothing against watching it.
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna stream it to you through Discord. We're gonna watch it. It's fine.
She's gonna stream it to you in your sleep. You'll just see it on your, the back of your eyelids.
Oh, that would
You're
be
just gonna
so
wake up and be like,
watch
Emily?
TV. If I could watch TV when I slept,
you'd run out of anime.
Okay, I haven't gotten more than like 7 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep since I started watching things.
So yes, this is also how my mother prioritizes things. Like my mother has only seen superhero movies because they're shirtless hot guys, and that is it.
Okay, hotness. There's a factor in that is great character development. Like that makes them hot.
The Mummy is my second favorite.
I remember watching that as a little kid.
Hold on. It's my sister. Yes, my sister.
Okay, I don't feel so bad about talking to my mom then.
You guys are
I don't know, but I'm on a live stream right now, so can you text me? Okay, bye.
We're on the stream!
She's like, hi, hello, yes. What the fuck is it? Starts talking to somebody in the background. I'm like, I'm on a live stream right now. I can't wait 5 years for you to get back to me. She's like, oh shit, I'll call you later. Bye.
Yeah, I just made my roommate get me a drink because I didn't want to get up again after the whole curtain thing.
It's my live stream. It takes me 10 seconds to say I'm busy. The Mummy is definitely my second favorite.
I need to rewatch that. I haven't watched that in like 5 years.
So we watched The Mummy, and then our middle child came in like halfway through and was really into The Mummy, so he watched it with us. He then realized that HBO Max had the Mummy, the second one, and so he was like, I want to watch that one. And we were like, tomorrow, because it's your bedtime. And so like we just went through and watched all of the Mummies with him in order.
Isn't the guy that plays Peeta in the Hunger Games the son in one of the Mummy movies?
I don't know. This requires a knowledge of the Hunger Games more than I possess.
It's the guy that would also in, I think it was Zathra.
I don't know. Pirates of the Caribbean is pretty
Google
far
it.
up. So I liked the first Pirates of the Caribbean because I actually really enjoy Jack Sparrow-ish type characters where it's there's a trope which is called something dumbass hidden badass, crouching dumbass hidden badass.
I love
and it's
that
where characters
so much.
play up or act really stupid, but like secretly they're actually super badasses. So we're watching Yu Yu Hakusho. And we've been watch partying in my server, Sophie. So if you ever want to join, I have a room where I just put up the links.
I was down.
We can be old.
Okay, he's how tall is he?
4'10" without hair. 5'3"
I would assume
hair.
with his hair down, I think I would have a heart attack.
He's a demon. His hair does not go down. It's just always flame shaped. Except that one time it was like that weird thing. But yeah, other than that, it never goes down. He's a demon.
Never.
To answer my own question, my favorite movies are the 3 original spaghetti westerns, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
I'm
mildly There's one more that you got to add to that list.
The third one
that is
also have dollars.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, there's one more you got to add to that list. Once Upon a Time in the West. That is also a Sergio Leone film. It is fantastic, and it has like one of the greatest endings you'll ever see. And it has this build-up over the course of the film, where it gives you little hints of what's going on, and then at the end, it all comes together. I'm not going to spoil it, but yes, it's Once Upon a Time in the West. Check it out if you are Westernly inclined.
My dad and my little brother did like a whole, for like 6 months, they were binging Westerns, like really old Westerns. And I would just come downstairs and they'd just be watching Westerns. And like every night, just like, and my like little brother, he was like, how old is he?
Were these
12?
Westerns from the 90s? Or
no, I mean like black and white Westerns.
I figured they kind of stopped making Westerns at a point when I wouldn't consider movies old anymore.
Yeah, like the ones that were at my great grandfather's house that would be on the tapes that we put in the I know what tapes are.
Her age again. I'm in a Batman DC fix right now. That's fair. Oh, Alien is solid.
That was not a disappointment.
I had a discussion last year when we were talking about Alien, and I was like, yeah, it's a horror film. And they were like, Sam, it's sci-fi. And I'm like, huh, it is both, isn't it? Which is funny because then earlier this year, some people were talking about whether or not Alien classified as a horror. And I was just like, it's really funny to me that I put it as that first.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I'm not good at watching horror movies.
I show my bias.
Because I get scared very easily.
Just watch them with me and Tabby because she too hates watching horror movies because she gets scared. So I just make them funny.
Okay, so, like the only horror movie I've like enjoyed watching is The Quiet Place. The Quiet Place, the one with the guy from The Office that he directed it. Do you like my descriptions of movies and who actors are? And his hair is like that.
Meanwhile, I can't remember any actor's name if it's not Brandon Fraser.
Usually I'm really good at it, but apparently not today.
Moulin Rouge is a fave too. Steve was like, you wanted my one favorite? Here's my top 10.
That's solid.
Aliens is better than Alien. Is Hocus Pocus on Disney Plus? Is that what you're telling me? Because if so.
What do you mean Alien's not on Disney Plus?
I agree. Hotness of actress is an important factor in certain movies. When Candy said the best movie she's ever seen, I thought she was gonna say Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, and I was like, what?
No.
Oh, Josh Hutcherson was not the son.
No,
of
I looked him up. It's some blonde kid.
The actor from The Mummy deserves better than that.
Freddie both.
But he was in a lot of kid stuff. All right. And Harold and Maude go to White Castle. Yes.
White Castle's a burger place, right?
Yeah.
They were watching really old Westerns. They were watching Will Smith's Wild.
You know what, guys?
I was thinking of. Welcome to the Wild Wild West.
I've seen old movies.
The Wild Wild West in me. I'm pretty picky with my horror. I like psychological horrors more than gore. See, here's the thing. I like horror over gore. Now, a lot of people, when they talk about horror, they talk like horror is the majority, but gore actually would only fit in like one out of the 4 primary umbrellas of horror. It's just there was a huge trend after the 80s slasher films, and then the 90s psychological, and then the mid 2000s decided we just need to make everything as disgusting as possible. And I was like, but why? But why have we gone here? It's going back now because that's what trends do. They like happen and they die. But
I think part of the reason I don't like scary things is I watched The Walking Dead too young.
Oh, you would have
trouble going
I don't do it.
And I had trouble going outside
era.
or being in dark rooms or, you know, zombies are really freaky. I don't know. I don't like zombie stuff.
Alien is Fox owned and Disney owns Fox. So Alien could be on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Okay,
like
but Steve was talking about Hocus Pocus.
Like Falcon and Winter Soldier, Alien.
So everybody, what we need to do
Rocky
today,
Horror Picture Show. That could also go on Disney Plus.
I haven't seen that either.
Disney Adult.
Disney After Dark.
Yes, that would be great. Also,
Yes.
if Don Chris Neaton. Okay, there you
Krasinski.
go.
His name sounds so fake.
Not too keen on gore. Jump scares is the best. Love the Conjuring franchise. Scared me shitless. So here's a fun thing about jump scares that's about to get me mildly disowned for a bit from my husband. I don't play horror games myself. I get bored. However, I love watching him play horror games,
You told me.
and I am a little shit.
Yeah, you are.
So I have to use a lot of physical restraint because he's scared very easily. Jump scares get him 9 out of 10 times when he's playing a game. So I'll just sit there and like he knows it's coming. And I think part of it is he psychs himself up a bit. And so I'm just like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then something jumps out and he gets scared anyway. And so I still like get to enjoy it. But I have to not jump scare him when there's not an actual jump scare, but when you feel the tension of a jump scare. Because sometimes video games will try to psych you out. And I'm like, I can't do it to him. Watching him play Slender Man the first time, I could not breathe. I was just laughing so hard. Jumanji with Robin Williams temporarily scared me because I saw it too young.
I love that movie as a kid.
Watching Walking Dead too young, isn't that show like 10 years
Again, it's 11 years old and
She
I'm
would have
18.
been 8.
I would have been 7. When it came out, I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I watched it when I was like 10 or 11. I was
Yeah,
like, I'm a big kid now. And, yeah.
I'm a big
Bad idea. Not a big kid.
It's okay. We love and embrace your youth.
I like tried to rewatch it like 2 years ago, and I was like, no, I know what's gonna happen. I'm not here for it.
If it makes you feel any better, I stopped watching The Walking Dead because I didn't like where they were taking the plot, and I thought it was stupid. So
eventually, I got to a certain point where my favorite character, like died or like supposedly died or something, and apparently the character comes back, but like it wasn't worth it to watch it till then.
You were 40 10 years ago, Steve? Interesting. You've been lying to me about your age this whole time. Okay. Whose turn is it? I think mine.
Ow.
Oh, okay. So what are some things people should keep in mind for theater to film adaptations?
Oh, well, let me just spontaneously search for my paragraph that I wrote on the subject.
That's fine. I can distract until then. I love Jumanji, but it was not good watching it as a 3-year-old.
You can remember things you watched as 3 years old.
Things that traumatize you, yes.
I hugged a lady that wasn't my mom in the grocery store when I was 3 years old.
Actually,
they were wearing the same jeans.
3 years is actually the age when most children's brains have officially developed long enough to carry long-term memories. So, like, from what I remember reading, 2.5 is like the absolute youngest anyone could potentially have memory of anything.
My first memory is breaking my arm.
Yikes.
Traumatizing memories stick with you.
Set me up for the rest of life. I was trying to fly like Batgirl.
So my youngest memory was when we were moving from Michigan to the South, and we stopped at a water park one day, and I went down a water slide into the water, and that is my youngest memory. And there's nothing special. I don't know why I remember it over everything else in life, but it's there.
Okay, so you were asking about adapting stage plays to film. Was that it?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, so this is kind of tricky to answer because there are so many different types of stage plays. You know, you got musicals, you got your intimate little 2 or 3 people things. But the biggest mistake I see when filmmakers take a scene from a play that happens outdoors and they put no thought into finding a location that doesn't fit with the aesthetic of the play, or finding one that does fit with the aesthetic of the play, because I made a typo there. But they'll just find a field somewhere and say, oh, let's shoot here. There's plenty of sunshine and open space. Only it doesn't fit at all with the atmosphere and the mood that the play creates. And the example I'm thinking of is the ending to Grease, which is absolutely terrible. It just, I'm sorry, it's my husband's favorite movie, and I have thoughts. But
It's
you know,
fine.
at the end, they have this carnival. They have all these people at this outdoor carnival, and they're dancing in the dirt with the sun beating down on them, and they're kicking up dust everywhere, and the whole surrounding atmosphere. I mean, it didn't even look like the 50s at all. It looked like the present day at the time it was made, like, I don't know what, that was
The
late
80s.
70s,
Oh,
early
is it?
80s, late 70s. Yeah. So, but a musical film adaptation that did get it right was Hairspray from 2007. That was the musical version of the original John Waters film. There's a song in the film called I Know Where I've Been, which is a gospel tune that Motormouth sings. Motormouth is played by Queen Latifah. And this is while they're leading a protest march to the TV station. And the streets are dark, and the buildings and everything is authentic to the era. And the topic is about civil rights. So it's basically everything that the end of Grease wasn't. You know, it actually fit with the times, and it was relevant, and it just felt more integrated with the actual story and the point of the story. I mean, you can still film outdoors in the sunshine and make it true to the era and reflect the atmosphere you're trying to convey, but you know, I mean, you can have closed in spaces for claustrophobia, have one person walking along a long patch of dirt to convey isolation. If you're in a city, you can film tall buildings that make the characters look puny by comparison, but the mood has to match the location and vice versa.
You were like, you can make the cities look taller than everybody, and I'm like, or I can just stand by them. Make everybody else look taller.
Yeah.
Audra said, I remember it traumatizing me, and we watched. I cannot tell you the amount of people I know in my parents' generation who were traumatized by watching it when they were younger than 5.
The Tim Curry
Yeah.
It?
He watched it.
Yes.
7.
Well, no, wait, is that the old one? Yeah, he played
Oh,
it
yeah.
in the original one.
The original.
Yeah.
My brain just died. I was like, that wasn't Tim Curry. Yes, it was.
My dad doesn't like clowns.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people from my parents' generation who just have a phobia of clowns because they saw it as a kid, and I'm like, ah, yes, Stephen King traumatizing a generation. Which is funny because he wouldn't let his kids watch Bambi because Bambi traumatized him.
Valid.
So,
That's valid.
payback.
I didn't figure it out for a long time. That, you know, the plot of Bambi, why it was sad. Yeah. So when I was old enough to be like, oh hey, I was not traumatized, so escape that.
My first memory is a nightmare I had where praying mantises were invading my crib.
It's terrifying.
Oh, damn. I hate it when they directly translate it to film. It rarely works. Yes.
I'm excited for the In the Heights.
Yeah. Oh, I want to see that so bad.
Like I haven't seen the show, like the actual like stage production of it, but like the trailer for the movie version of it looks so good.
Yeah, I saw
and it's by
that.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, so
Yeah.
it's gonna, you know, have bops. So I'm excited for that.
Yes, sorry. I was dealing with pain. Agree with Candy. I do live theater, and I hate it when the movie ignores the mood/original intent of the stage play. Chicago was exceptionally well translated to movie. All the non-diegetic parts were lit differently and more dreamlike. It was French kiss. I was like, chef's kiss, French kiss.
I think I'm gonna have to look up diegetic. I don't think I've heard that word before. Stieg?
I don't know what it means either.
Stieg, let's see who's faster. You or Google. Diegetic definition. Occurring within the context of the story and able to be heard by the characters.
Oh, okay. So we must be talking about like dance dream sequences, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Non-diegetic. Okay. All right. Today I learned. The more you know.
I too enjoyed the movie Chicago, and I agree that it was translated from stage to film well. I'm like stage to stage, from theater stage to film stage well. Also, like when we were gonna have Roxanne, and everyone's like, "Oh, but like." Straight up, one of Chris's college colleagues was like, "But everybody's gonna, sing that song by the Police, Roxanne." And Chris and I are like, "Bruh, you're already into old music in our generation if you know Roxanne by the Police. No one in her generation is gonna be singing Roxanne to her." Now she will have Roxy from Chicago sang to her, but that would be by us, her parents.
Roxanne. That one?
Yeah, Roxanne. You know, it's about a hooker.
You don't have to put on the red light.
Yeah, my parents changed my name because my mom said it sounded the original, or not my mom, my grandmother said it sounded like a burlesque dancer, singer, something. So my name changed.
Another common thing we get is like, Roxanne's such a bitch name, and we're like, so let her be a bitch. I am. So just passing on my personality.
Such a bitch name. And
what's your point? And the Heights movie looks good. Saw it live. It was okay, but not my favorite play, but not bad. That was a roller coaster. Non-diegetic means that things doesn't actually happen in the real world. Diegetic, like the movie Cabaret, where all songs actually happen. Cool.
Cabaret.
That would be my goal.
Right. I love Cabaret.
That's Madeline's favorite musical. Mermaid.
So I was very confused about what Cabaret was in high school because our what were they called? They were the club that danced and sang and put on this one thing, but they put on Cabaret every year. But they only had one song from Cabaret, and that's the song Cabaret. And that was like the opening and the end, and the rest of it was just like a medley of whatever songs they wanted to perform.
Yep.
So for the longest time, I didn't realize it was actually a musical. I was like, wait, that's a thing?
Yeah. Every time they'd like, oh, the winter cabaret. I'm like, oh, we're doing cabaret? And like, no, we're doing a cabaret.
That's
like, thank you.
I just said.
That explained nothing.
Like, hold on now.
Oh, we're doing cabaret? No, we're doing a cabaret. Yeah, we're doing cabaret. No.
Why are you doing this to me?
We're saying the same word. No, we're not.
Cabaret was one of my favorite things, though, because I got to do the lights for it, and so it was fun. There was one time we did Bohemian Rhapsody, and I had to leave, like, the teacher director would take over the lights so I could leave the booth to go down and work the strobe lights at the bottom of the stage. So I miss theater. Yes, thank you, StreamYard. I was like, StreamYard, give me Jenna's thing. And hear me thinking Cabaret and Chicago are the same musical until this moment. That's fair. Cabarets.
Yeah, I think it had the same composers.
Oh.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it did. And of course, I can't remember who they were.
And as any good day, I had Eliza Minnelli face.
I had a phase where I'd watch the He Had It Coming song.
He had it coming.
Oh yeah.
Yep, on repeat.
The cell.
Bunch of different
Pop.
cell block
Cell
tango.
block tango.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd watch a bunch of different versions of it, of like, women dancing along to it. I'm like, honey, you were
I love when people
so gay.
parody
And I'm like,
that.
I just really like the song and the choreography. I'm like, you are gay. That's why you like it.
Fandom parodies that into so many things, and I will spend all day just watching different fandom parodies. I was gonna say pairings, parodies of it.
I love parodies of most things.
This is also fair. I do. I love musicals, and musicals are in part why I, as a child, when I was upset, I would literally just go into my backyard and start singing Belle from Beauty and the Beast wise, all my feelings
that
out.
earlier.
So
someone will be like,
I
speaking
am
French,
musical.
and then they'll go like, bonjour. And I'm like, bonjour, bonjour, good day.
Bonjour.
How is your family?
There goes the baker with his bread. But no, I mean, like, I'd go back in the yard and like Belle, when she's all like, I want adventure, I'd be like, I fucking hate school and my homework sucks ass. That would be how I dealt with life. My children are so used to their mother being a musical character that, like, they'll walk down into the kitchen and I will just randomly grab one of them and start twirling with them as I'm singing and then release them, and they keep walking as if nothing.
So great.
Like, they're used to me.
I think my cats are used to me picking them up and twirling around the room with them in my arms. They're like, what are you doing?
Which one do you refer to, Stieg? I've seen
many,
two. I need to watch more?
They're fantastic. They're all so fantastic.
All right.
Required viewing.
Yes, required. Okay. I
never got cast in
blocking
in high school.
How do you think blocking when you adapt from stage to film? Like, what are some things that, like, they do and they don't? Because I know when you block on a stage, you've just got this one thing, whereas you can change location with a film and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't see too much of a difference because, just on film, you're working on a larger scale because you're shooting either in a studio or on location, and you have a lot more space to work with. So it all depends on what the director wants. The cinematographer has a lot of say because they might be able to get a really good shot from one angle as opposed to another. So it might adjust the blocking that way. But for stage, when you're blocking, part of that is so that you don't fall off the stage or, slam into somebody else. Or if it's for a dance number or something like that. That's not as much of a concern in film. The blocking is pretty much really basic. They, instead of saying, okay, go to this point and that point, they'll say, okay, then you walk from that table over to here and pick up a piece of paper and hand it to who's its name. Mm-hmm. It's really not as, I don't know what the word is, severe or strict as blocking from a stage would be, because with the stage, there's more freedom on a location or in a studio, whereas on a stage, there's danger all around.
For those who don't know what blocking is, because I realized I should have explained that first, I'm sure everyone's seen some sort of piece of media where there's that X on something that it's like, that's where you stand for your cue. Like, actual blocking isn't quite like that, but it's like the choreography and picking where the people stand and everything. It's part of the reason why in dance sets they don't accidentally kick each other in the faces, because they know where their block is that they're supposed to stand. And let me tell you, sometimes you watch those people and their legs fly and you're like, oh God, that's so close to the face.
And to throw another wrench into the works, if you're working on a set that has a director and or actors that are open to improv, things could change, and you've got to be adaptable to that. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's a little bit more freeform than you would find in play or musical setting.
in my limited experience as an actor in like stage versus film, I feel like there's a lot more freedom on the stage. Like in the original, like in the planning process, there's more freedom on film, but in the like actual, like when you say go, there's more freedom on stage than there is on film, because on film the camera and everything is already set up, and on stage you just have to worry about where the audience is and where other people's movement are, not like going out of frame or anything like that.
Yeah, that's fair. But there is also a thing sometimes, you know, there's such a different range between directors in both stage and in film. And you have the directors will just say, well, just do whatever, you know, go over here and do what you feel like, because they're looking for that authenticity. And so that can make people decide to just wander around or whatever. Others are a lot more strict, and you know, if you don't stand exactly 2 feet beside this one green pebble, then you're off the set. But yeah, I could see where you could have it be either both strict or both free in both scenarios. A lot of times it depends on the director and what they want too.
So could you imagine if it was like it was on TV and you just had different colored X's for every blocking for every character? It would just be like a sea of X's.
Yeah.
No one would be able to find anything. All right, going to chat for a moment. I have to figure out where they are. So I'm just going to be salty at chat for a moment. I'm trained in musicals. I'm trained in choir. I'm trained in terrorizing my children.
Oh no, you have to include Jenna's. Jenna's is
I'm getting there.
Okay.
You need to feed out to the audience for stage, not as much fun. All right, I'm trained to sing by myself where no one can be victimized. I'm not trained to sing by myself. That's why chat has to listen to them. I use stage blocking before I start writing my scenes. When I write, helps me visualize the scene. Hey, that's actually like could be a pretty good thing, because sometimes I read novels and it's like this character did this and then this character did that, and I'm like, wait, weren't you? Hold on, where is everybody?
Yeah,
I have to go back to reread. No, just scenes in general.
Yeah,
it's like he entered the room and his broha was laying on the bed, and then they're talking, and it's like he grabbed his broha's arm, and I'm like, but
when did you get over there?
When did you get there? When did you get by the bed? When did your
broha teleportation powers of the broha bond?
That, or it's just like he wanted to talk to his broha, but like the guard was there, and then it's like he somehow has muscled past the guard, and you're like, but wait.
So we missed that. Yeah, I choreograph fight scenes with my dad, so I don't lose track of people. Like I have a bunch of different diagrams on my wall at home of like the exact movements. When I have like 20 people fight scenes, I'm like,
I need a diorama.
Who's dead? I've killed like half of you, but I don't remember who.
Oh, fight scene choreography. It's like the hardest and the most fun thing. I gotta confess that a lot of the best inspiration I've gotten for choreographing fight scenes is various episodes of Family Guy where Peter's battling the giant chicken, and they get into these fight scenes where it escalates, where they're like fighting down the street, and then they're on a train, and then they jump from a train onto a bus that crashes into a Ferris wheel, and then the Ferris wheel is rolling down the street, and they're still fighting with each other, and it just totally over the top. But some of them, you're watching this and it's just like, okay, Stewie goes left, and some guy shoots a bunch of projectiles at him, and he misses, and they all embed themselves in the truck. I'm like, oh, I should make note of that for something in the future. And it all goes by so fast, and you're trying to like hold it in mind, and it's like I can't type that fast to write it down. That's not the only source where I get my inspiration for choreography, but it is one of them.
All the chicken fights.
All the chicken fights, yes.
Yeah, theater, you need to do the same blocking show to show, but directors allow improv to figure it out in rehearsals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when we did Charlie Brown, the musical, in my drama club. And first of all, my poor drama director hated himself every day because he's like teenagers and musicals do not mix.
I think most drama teachers hate themselves every day.
During like plays, it's fine, but musicals, he's like, why did I let them talk me into this?
Our musicals
And so
were...
like there was one musical where I brought the lights up and then nobody came out, so I had to pull the lights back down for a second. And he's like, what did you do? And I'm like, nothing, don't worry about it. And he's like, did that? And then an entire song got skipped because other people had come out and stuff.
God.
And he was like, oh my God. And I'm like, so I was just trying to cover up for them because like, and yeah, you gotta, during shows and stuff, gotta make sure you hit those blocks for the poor lighting crew and the sound. We need to know where you people are.
It's our musicals were like the big event of the year. Like our theater club, so dedicated.
Well, see, there was two
professional.
There was drama club, and then there was the music people, and then there was band. So I guess there were three.
All the same.
I was in all three at the same time. I was in band and choir and drama.
Choir. Was that
yes?
Them?
The drama kids and the choir kids were one and the same. And if you were a drama kid but not a choir kid, you were fucked.
Not at my high school.
No,
band,
in my high
choir,
school
and drama.
4.
Each one hated the other two.
No,
and I was in all 3 of them.
There was choir and drama and band, and then there was one more, and the one that the fourth one was basically a mix of drama and choir, because literally the only thing they did all year was cabaret. That was it. That was the one thing they did. And it was my favorite thing though, and they worked their asses off. And they all planned. They were the ones that wanted to do like stage production professionally after they left. So there was a lot of overlap. So some people which were in the one were also in choir and or drama. But so it was a blast. All right. What is the next thing? Oh, director's signature style.
Oh yeah. Okay. Ignore me while
as a director, every shot's a continuous shot.
Stevie's like, I want everybody to die at the end of all my films. Not the characters. No, the viewers.
Oh no, the viewers. Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're so defensive of the character.
I can't. Just cut to
okay. Me. So, director's signature style. This is something that was pretty much established when way back in the 30s. There were a lot of German writers and directors like Billy Holiday, not Billy Holiday, Billy Wilder. He's even the same last name. It's like I can't remember.
You said
Billy Wilder,
Billy Holiday, and I'm like, but my brain's like, that sounds off.
Yeah. I don't know where my brain is. I thought
I don't know much, but
yeah. But anyhow, him and a whole lot of other directors, and now I can't remember any of them, but a whole bunch of really good directors from Germany came over to Hollywood to escape what was happening in Germany. And let's see, why can't I remember the name of that one? Fritz Lang. Fritz Lang is the one. He directed Metropolis and a few others. Ernst Lubitsch. He directed some comedies. There was one starring Greta Garbo called Ninotchka, and it was really famous for being a comedy that she actually laughed in, because I guess she had this reputation for never laughing in any of her movies. But the thing about Ernst Lubitsch and these other German expressionists was that they were, number one, they had this visual style where it was very stark contrast between dark and light. And that was what went into the development of film noir, that sort of lighting style. It came from German expressionism. But there was also, Ernst Lubitsch was a little bit more lighthearted. He did the movie of, the first movie of To Be or Not to Be, which was starring Jack Benny. And his movies, they came to be classified as something called Lubitsch Land, where it's like if a film took place in Europe, it wasn't exactly actual Europe. It was sort of just kind of this Fantasyland, Wonderland Europe. And where all of the houses, all the apartments were first class. Everybody drank champagne every day in gorgeous gowns, and it was just sort of like this fantasy wonderland. And those kind of movies and those settings that he's used eventually came to be known as Lubitsch Land. Mm-hmm. And that's the sort of same thing that you see with Tim Burton. You know a Tim Burton film when you see it. Yeah, he has his own aesthetic. Terry Gilliam has his own aesthetic. Wes Anderson and
Michael Bay.
I was getting a numb ass cheek, had to realign.
Yeah. So it's not a requirement to develop a signature style where everybody looks at you and says, "Hey, that's a such and such a movie by so and so." But it's interesting when a director has a certain style that they apply to all of their films, and it's sort of a unified statement of who that director is and how they feel about things. That's it.
That's cool.
So go forth and do likewise.
I'm taking chat's comments. I just have to find them. Oh, poor Steve.
Your cat's eyes are just like slightly peeking up above like the middle part of your hair. It was really funny.
Being called out by stage directors is the worst. Let me make my mistake in silence.
Especially when they do it at the end of like when it's like Hell Week. That's like the week before a show when you like stay at school like 7 hours and you're like dead. Anyways, and everyone's there and it's like super late and there's like this person made this mistake and this person made that mistake and everyone's dying inside and they just want to go home. My theater program was so much fun.
Style goes very long way for me. So this may sound terrible and be very telling of me, but I don't know that I have directors that I really love, but I do have directors I avoid. So
Jon Favreau, I love
him. So if they made a movie, I'm like, I'm not gonna like this movie. So I take that back. There are two directors. I cannot remember their names, but I do like them. Once my scene partner forgot his lines. It was awkward meet scene, so we were supposed to have long pauses, and I couldn't figure out if he was just milking the awkward pause, so I forgot his line.
That's hilarious. There. I mean, like terrible, but so funny.
We had one person who was like phenomenally good at improv. So like whenever somebody fucked up their lines in rehearsal, they'd just like try to improv the scene better. And my theater director, he was just like, how are they gonna learn their lines if you keep doing this?
That's great.
So, but like the scene would just finish too, so it's like whatever. Saddened that pieces of Metropolitus are gone forever. No. I love when movies have color themes and color stories. That's one of the things I enjoy is when I'm watching something and it's like in a grayscale, but then like one or two like colors pop and then eventually things become in color. This is one of my favorite thingies.
I have a love-hate relationship with film coloring. Sometimes it works really well. If you watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which is a Coen Brothers film. And throughout the entire movie, all the scenery, all of the trees and all of the surrounding yards and fields and stuff, everything is gold. All the trees are gold, all the fields are gold, everything's gold. And it follows this group of guys who are just sort of stumbling through life. And they end up somehow in an old recording studio where they're gathered around an old coffee can and they record this hit song. And then everything seems to be going right. And then it all falls apart. And the underlying metaphor is with all these trees and all these fields and stuff, what they're saying is that these people can't see the gold that's already all around them. They're so busy trying to reach for, to for success and trying to get what their idea of gold is that they don't realize that, life is golden, and just the way that it got conveyed through color there. The thing that I don't like is I do not like all of these movies that are desaturated and then given this really ugly kind of blue-green gradient.
Yes.
I mean, just God, I hate that with a burning passion.
So because I had a box colored TV that like its color tubing was dying when I was a kid. Whenever I see that, I'm always like, is my TV dying? Is this something fucked up on my TV? No, it's just they wanted the movie to be depressing, so they made it.
Yeah, they wanted to be gritty. And
want to hear something cool? The Coen brothers, they went to my college. It's one of the reasons I went here. I saw them in the alumni list. I was like, oh, it must be a great school.
They fooled you. Right. So Stieg was showing some director love with James Wan and Sofia Coppola.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got one more. Can I make one more complaint?
Yes.
Go ahead. I was about to.
Okay. Okay. One more complaint about color futzing, and then I'll move on. Okay. So I didn't like the fourth Indiana Jones movie just on its own, but the thing that really threw it off for me was the way they futzed around with the color to try to make it look like, I don't know, an old faded comic book or something like that. And it's just, I'm used to for the first three movies. They should have just left it on the third one, because when they rode off into the sunset, it was just perfect. But no, they had this fourth one, and it would have been okay if it was just a fourth one with the so-so story and all that. But then they had to go in and just change the color, to make it just look sort of outer-worldly and an old, it is just like, why? Why would you do that? You had a good formula, and you ruined it. You blew it up.
We need that.
Okay, rant over.
We need that weird stuffed cat monkey gift that's like, why? And then there's people with no style or taste like Joel Schumacher. I'm not sure who that is.
Many directors.
But I agree that Michael Bay can't shoot anything that's not an explosion.
I was making a joke, yeah.
And then Chris said he can shoot an explosion.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
what rock? Hold on, which rock? There's so.
I think he's talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I don't think he's talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, do we mean Dwayne? Is that rock? What rock? Explosive rock?
Icon. Did you see the thing he posted on Instagram about him? Like,
people. I just heard Chris say what from the other.
About Alcatraz with Sean Connery. Nicholas fucking. You gotta be fucking Dwayne the fucking Rock Johnson, really?
I don't know what you're talking about. Still,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did I see this movie? Well, then how am I supposed to know? My dad watches a lot of things I don't watch. Movies aren't my thing. If it was made after I was born, I probably don't know it. If it was made before I was born, we got a pity. Okay, then I probably don't know it. Do I go in the bedroom? I've upset my husband.
Apparently.
Don't act like that would make a difference to you.
Anyways, Dwayne the Rock Johnson's an icon.
I have not seen this, but now I want to. I've seen much love for it here. They're also literally on a quest to seek treasure. One of the MCs left his family to seek treasure. It's fair. See, the Batmans from the 90s that Burton did, I hate. With a fiery passion of several thousand suns. Why the fuck did the Penguin and Catwoman need to suddenly be part, like, animal? No. Although, wait, there is one that I like, isn't it? The Batman and Robin, the one with Poison Ivy? What's the other one I like? How do you know there's two? Then who did the one with Poison Ivy?
That was Joel Schumacher.
Oh, then yes, I like Joel Schumacher. He did the Batman I like. But yes, I can't stand Tim Burton's Batmans.
Is that the one with the nipples?
No, that was the one with George Clooney.
Yeah. No, so Tim Burton like tried to make Batman more like weird horror.
I think I watched
like
one
in
of
the
those.
like Penguin is just this short little kind of egg-shaped man.
Is that where the fat penguin came from?
No, he's always been. He's shaped like an egg, and he wears a suit, so with a big nose, so he vaguely looks like a penguin, and thus he's called a penguin. But he's like this kind of upscale, like very distinguished gentleman. He's got a monocle and all that, and he's like a super mob boss. And then Tim Burton's penguin just like fucking got these fingers. And he's like really kind of grody, and he bites somebody's nose, and I'm like, sir, that is not my distinguished monocle wearing penguin. What the fuck did you do to him? And then Catwoman eats a bird. What about Joker? I keep forgetting he's in those movies, to be honest.
I think the only true Batman is the animated series.
I like the ones with Christian Bale because I grew up with those.
I'm up for different kinds of Batman. I just hate I watch Batman for the villains. Is
the guy from Twilight being the new Batman? I wish they'd cast someone younger.
Yes, I'm very interested to see how he's gonna pull it off, especially since like
30s now. I wish they cast someone who's younger.
Why? Batman's in his 30s.
I don't know if they're doing an origin story.
Funnies, but yeah, I'm actually very interested to see his take on Batman, especially since like some people were giving him flack about it, and he's like, "I could make a shitty Batman if I want to, y'all. Remember this." And I'm like, that's a power play.
I think he'll do a great job, just because he's kind of hilarious because of how he handled the whole Twilight thing. He's like, no one hates it more than me.
I actually think Robert Pattinson is a really good actor.
Me too.
Like, he went from Cedric Diggory to playing Edward.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. And the way he got Edward was because he was like, he played Edward the way he saw Edward, which was not a romanticized love interest. He thought Edward was a self-centered, narcissistic dick. So that's how he played him. And Stephanie Meyer was like, yes, he's the perfect Edward. And I'm like, is he now? So I actually think he's a really good actor.
I agree. I think he'll do a fantastic job.
Why you gotta be like that? You know Twilight was done in that sad color palette.
It has a really weird color palette, yeah.
All right. Oh, it's a retelling of the Odyssey set.
Steve just called me out. Sorry.
Hold on.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Color can be done badly and sad when they do it right. Great when they do it right. Yeah. Wait, which soundtrack slaps? I miss things.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Oh, okay. Even more reason for me to. I have to see this now.
I'm a man that comes in sorrow.
Wait, I know that song. Have I seen this movie? Hold on. I swear, like, I know this. As with many things, it's like, no, Sam knows the whole soundtrack for the movie she's never even heard of. Would not be the first time. Highways in the Heaven. Maybe I do know the soundtrack.
Just the soundtrack,
okay,
not the movie.
He said The Rock is okay.
Dwayne The Rock.
His assistant director, I assume you're just talking Michael Bay again. I do agree the 90s Batman, the animated 90s Batman is my favorite. Well, my second favorite. My favorite Batman's Adam West. His shark repellent will not be surpassed by any, and he had Eartha Kitt Catwoman, so.
Yes.
Let us just, I could not have proved more cemently that I know far more about things before I was born, as I know the actors for the Batman, but I'm trying to, like, the 90s Batmans came out in my lifetime. I don't remember shit. I enjoy it for nostalgic reasons. That's fair. The George Clooney one is the one with the nipples and poison ivy, directed by Joel Schumacher. I love that one. it was very reminiscent of the golden era Batman where things are campy and funny. Robert Pattinson is a crazy man now, and I'm excited to see right. He's just like, y'all want to complain? I can make Batman bad. I have the power. And I'm
Kind of
like, oh
iconic.
my god, I love that. Every role he has done in the past 10 years has brought something to fucking wacky to. CB just wants someone her own age so she can. You can thirst over someone in their 30s, CB. It's fine.
I know. It's
fine. It's just creepy when it's the other way around.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It just feels weird.
I mean, that's fair. I too don't. Well, I just don't thirst in general, but that's not the point.
Fast backwards to like an hour ago when I was talking about how hot the cast of Winter Soldier was. But
this here is proof that you can aggressively disagree with your soulmate and still have a happy marriage. I'm just saying. Jack, okay. So here's the thing. I agree Jack Nicholson is one of the best Jokers, and this may be why I keep blocking out the fact he was in Tim Burton's Batman, because I hate Tim Burton's Batman so much. So
I gotta go back to animated series. Mark Hamill is the best Joker, hands down.
Oh yes.
I will not take any more discussion on
Mark
this.
Mark Hamill on Twitter is hilarious. I love
his Instagram. He's
so
great.
Funny.
But yes, I was speaking of the live action ones only, because I don't know any of the animated ones other than the 90s ones.
I don't think I've seen the animated 90s.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's on Disney, isn't it?
Or maybe I went on a Batman binge at one point, but I'm pretty sure I had a concussion when I did so I don't remember most of it.
Batman's
all the songs in Oh Brother are just old Americana songs. Okay, that's fair. That's why I know the songs.
There's a Supernatural episode of the same name. And yes, I do hate myself.
Oh, there is a Supernatural episode called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Mm-hmm.
Also, Michael Keaton is a great Batman. Is he
That's the guy who plays the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming.
This is correct, I believe.
It is correct. I know things sometimes.
But again, I don't watch Batman for Batman, except maybe Robert Pattinson's Batman. That may be the one time I watched Batman for Batman.
I think the Christian Bale one, he's really cool. Plus, he was in Newsies, which makes him an icon.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know of I don't know of an actor I would say played a bad Batman. I think they all played Batman pretty well, whether they played him the way that he is with Bruce Wayne or if they played him Batman. As far as live action actors, I think all the Batmans have been fine. Some are better than others. I don't think any of them have been bad. I do have much stronger opinions on the villains, though. There have been some villains that have been hella fucked over. So
I forgot.
Which one's this one? Tell me who the villains in the movie were.
I know that name, but I don't know anything else. I don't know why I know that name, but I do.
Oh, wasn't it? The Riddler and Mr. Freeze, Jim Carrey and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I have such mixed feelings because on its own, I love that movie, but I'm also like, that's not the Riddler. So I have such mixed feelings because I'm like, they did such a bad job, but at the same time, it's such a great movie.
The Riddler actor in Gotham, the TV show, is so
I haven't
good.
got that far. Ooh, now I'm excited.
Yeah,
Val Kilmer is the Burton one. Okay, he can suck because it was Tim Burton's.
What has Val Kilmer been in? Like, why do I know that name?
Wait a minute, no. Michael Keaton was in the two Burton ones, and then Val Kilmer was in the Schumacher one, I think, right?
Dun dun dun. I don't know. You guys are contradicting each other.
No, Stieg. Wait. No, Michelle Spicer. Catwoman in the Tim Burton sucked ass. I don't care who played her. No, she ate a bird. Why the fuck? She's not an actual Catwoman. She's a cat burglar.
Oh,
she is a pun.
I saw a video essay on her. That's why I watched the movie, because I saw a video essay on
I do
her
agree with
deterioration. So I watched the whole movie to understand what's going on.
Okay, Keaton was Burton's Batman.
Hmm.
Okay, so next point.
Oh, there were points? Okay.
We have a list of things to reach.
I thought this was the all Batman hour.
This is just the various. We can't. Look, if y'all want to do a Let's Talk Batman versions, you're gonna have to give me 2 weeks to research who the fuck is who. I will have opinions.
I have opinions. I just don't know what they are yet.
Exactly. I will remember my opinions. It'll be a batathon. Okay. We did signature style, which is how we got here.
Yes.
Okay, so we've discussed fashion before and it in visual media and on stage and stuff. Would you say that, like, how do that differ or is the same in film? I had that phrased very well in my Milo note, and I don't know why I tried to freestyle it.
Oh, that's okay. My phrasing's just sucked ass all through this whole live stream, so don't worry about it.
And I'm doing fantastic.
Yes, you are. We're so proud of you, Dee.
Thank you.
She just spills things. Otherwise, she's eloquent.
Casually sinking lower and lower in my chair.
I'm just waiting for her analysis on costuming and the benefits vis-a-vis Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yes. You want me to? Those tight shirts. No, okay. In actuality, his Winter Soldier costume is really dark and it shows this like different.
Do you know how old those actors are?
Yeah, I know. I already made that joke.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that joke and I'm sad now.
Okay, so anyhow, so like costumes for a stage play, they're made to stand out so that people in the back row of the cheap seats can see them. You know, so they have a little bit more oomph, a little more floof, more color, and
so he put such.
You look amazingly comfortable. So costumes on stage might be more elaborate than even people who lived in whatever era they're from were actually in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with super frilly or elaborate or colorful costumes in a film, but they do have to fit the mood of the story and or reflect the characters' personalities. Like, for example, in Star Wars films, most of the Jedi wear simple brown and beige garments that reflect their values of simplicity and humility and service to others. Anakin Skywalker, on the other hand, wears all black with black leather tabards. It doesn't make a genius to see the mood being conveyed. Hello, tiny human. Anyhow, it doesn't take a genius to see the mood being conveyed. He has a tenuous link to the Jedi Order, but he also bucks against the trend, against convention, and that's reflected in his color choice. So film and TV gives you the opportunity to study costumes closely and decipher what those costumes are conveying. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You're welcome.
Awesome. I had something I was going to say. And then go ahead, CB. What were you saying?
I was complimenting Candy on being well-spoken.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That surprises me.
No, I agree.
So I actually thought I was well-spoken, but thank you. To me, I feel like I'm just like stumbling over my words, and then I stop for like a 5-hour pause before I think of what it is I'm trying to say.
Yeah, in my opinion, with costuming, stage is much more, like you were saying, prominent, and with costuming for film, it is like more like Easter eggs. Like the characterization through the costuming is much more subtle in most cases. Then you have like the crazy character where it's like, yes, that person is definitely insert adjective here.
Insert adjective. That kid wearing the red cannot possibly be the Red Ranger.
No.
But,
no.
I love costume design in like everything, and Could you yell at them at the top of the stairs, please? Thank you. I especially like when non-human things are costumed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because sometimes it's actual, like, you know, making them look non-human, and other times it's just trying to make this non-human person dress human in a way that's obviously not normal. So, like, maybe I'm trying to think of a good example that doesn't actually fit into, like, K-pop aesthetic anymore. Because, like, these things would have been a clue previously, but now they're kind of fashion trends. Like if a mini skirt is layered over jeans and it's not the early 2000s
That's
America.
terrible. Early 2000 America needs to stop.
I mean, it did. We're in 2020s now. But yeah, so it's just like stuff like that, where these visual cues. And I love how a lot of the film visual cues also carried over from theater and from the stage plays and everything. And then you have the like really silly ones, like, oh, they're a pilot, so they've got like goggles, even though like those goggles would not actually be used by any pilots ever. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm scared because I see Stieg said, okay, hear me out. Okay, hear me out.
It's always a warning sign.
Sofia Capella's costuming. Oh, okay. In Marie Antoinette movie, the one with Kristen Dunst is so good. Same with these other people in Moulin Rouge. Not historically accurate, but dang people. if they don't.
Dang if they what? Oh, okay.
I had to find it. I'm sorry.
Audra agrees
the costume major agrees with that statement. That's the other thing. Sometimes historical accuracy has to be given up for narrative or for the storytelling, or just because we don't have a real way to know what it looked like back then, because there's like bits and pieces missing. So gotta always give that grain of salt. The costuming major and professional costumer agrees that Candy explained it well. Theater needs to be big and you can get away with minor mistakes. Film, you can see all the details. You can be subtle. Yes, E.T. in a dress. That reminds me of Jumba and Pleakley from Lilo and Stitch.
Madeline and you would get along so well. Madeline's my roommate and she's like in love with Lilo and Stitch and the two aliens in
look, when people were like Frozen's coming out and it's Disney's first movie about sisters, and I was like, bet Lilo and Stitch, motherfucker.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I was so salty about that. Yes, there are historical fantasies, not as in the genre, but as they are fantastical interpretations of historic events. Yes. A lot of Marvel actors have the same birthday as me, but not the same year. Oh, that's interesting. Like Marie Antoinette also has a modern soundtrack and it's mostly just about vibes. Look, anytime they're like historical movie, modern day soundtrack, I'm yes. Because I just...
Have you seen A Knight's Tale?
Yes, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, I love A Knight's Tale. Come on. Oh, it's so great. Also, anytime Viking movies or Viking themed things have heavy metal, like sings to my soul, because heavy metal was invented in Norway and not a lot of people know that. So I'm like, somebody on set cared. Somebody cared.
I learned that from watching Bones.
However you learn it, I don't care. It's
my
important.
forensics teacher confirmed that Bones is is the most accurate forensics like TV show.
That's one of the first things I do when I watch like anything that's historical or anything that's scientific. I Google, how accurate is this?
Do I absorb this knowledge or not?
Am I learning things, or should I just be like, TV? All right.
We watched it in class, and she was like, "Pay attention." I'm like, "I love you. You're my favorite." It's a great teacher.
All right. Hallmarks of different genres: drama, horror. I almost said horror-y. Drama, horror, comedy, including setting, color palette, camera angles, etc. Oh, there's a fifth thing here.
Oh boy, that's a lot.
You wrote it.
I know. Where did I write it? Are you sure I wrote it?
I have screenshots. I have evidence.
I thought I talked about a lot of that in director signature style.
Maybe
What?
you did. Like I said, I was just reading the point. We can go to a different
Okay.
point. If you feel you have nothing new to add to it, we'll just go to a different point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only things I see on my list are in regards to planning a film and the extra stuff of movies I particularly think are
Yes.
watchworthy.
We will go to planning first because my next point feels more like a thing. I know what I'm doing. So planning a film.
Okay. Ooh, like the headband.
Always.
you.
I always come with receipts.
And I have copies of Sam's receipts.
Jeez, I thought you said receipts. I'm like, no, we don't do those.
So CB, have you actually made a short film yet where you were the director, or were you just
It depends. I don't know. Let's go with no.
Let's go with no? Okay. So how much have how many okay, because I had this whole thing
How
about
about I say
planning
yes? I'll say yes.
Okay. Well, there's it's just that there's like a lot that goes into planning a film, which I'm sure you already know right now. There's the script. Storyboards. Have you ever done storyboards?
Kind of.
Speak as if the audience has no idea what we're talking about, because we're here for TV and chat.
Okay. So storyboards are basically a roughly drawn, almost like cartoon style comic of what scenes are supposed to look like. You can use them to show blocking. You can use them to show motion during a fight scene, or two people just coming together on a cliff while there's a sunset going down. Those sort of things. They make storyboards of them so that it helps the cinematographer to position the camera, because it shows the sort of angle that the director wants, or panorama, or directions on which way someone needs to walk out of scene, that sort of thing. Storyboards, they're not as complicated as you might think, because you can do everything in stick figures. When I wrote the script for Anakin's assignment, I also did a full set of storyboards for it. And the funny thing was that I'd drawn them out. Every scene, I'd drawn them out, the positions where they were, the furniture, all of that. And then when we went to shoot the movie, Fred built the entire set. I mean, we dragged in sheets of drywall that were discarded out by the dumpster. And we propped those up and we painted those yellow, and those were the walls of Millie's apartment. And we set up like a whole kitchen area. And I'd already shown the whole thing in storyboards, but the way that the kitchen and dining room was set up was that it was flipped around, reverse. So like everything that was storyboarded basically it's just like, okay, well, we'll just turn it around, hold it up to the light, and see that's the way that where the actor should stand. So storyboards, yes, they're great. Okay, moving on.
And Steve, about your question, are storyboards mandatory for planning a film? They're not mandatory, but they're highly, highly, highly recommended.
Yes, yes.
I think if you're doing anything on a professional or like big scale, they'll definitely require them, though.
Yeah.
So.
And there's if you can't draw, I can't draw, but I drew them anyway. But there is storyboarding software out there where you can just like import a stick figure and position the arms where you want. So there's other ways to do it besides drawing. I just did my chicken scratch because that's what I had at the time, and I still like it. It's got its charm.
I love it's not film, but for like I follow this one webtoon artist who he does the most basic squiggly storyboards. He has something wrong with his wrist. So he can only work a max
Imagine having
of...
something wrong with your wrist.
I know,
Couldn't
right?
be me.
So he can only work like, I think 20 to 30 hours a week max, and that's it, or he risks doing further damage. So as his one series got more popular, he started hiring assistants, and now he heavily advertises and promos his assistants because he's very proud of them and he wants them to get their coin.
So great.
And there's this one named Chorizo, which he refers to as, he's like, she is goddess Chorizo. And he'll just send her a storyboard with like the most basic ass squiggly circles. And she sends him back just the full scene already done and colored and everything. And he's like, magic. And I love seeing
it's great when you have that rapport like that.
What webtoon is it?
So he was he still is technically. Freaking Romance is finished.
Oh, yeah.
And he spent 2 years researching and learning to write a romance, even though he hated romance, because he felt if he could succeed in a genre he hated, he would definitely succeed in a genre he was passionate about. Yeah. And he on days where he can't use his wrists and stuff, he'll watch videos or he'll read books and stuff on writing and plot and framing and stuff. So I'm like, I'm here for his growth. Yeah. His next comic is Kill Me After Lunch, which is a horror comic, and I'm very excited.
Me too. I really liked Freaking Romance.
Okay, so the other things that you gotta make sure you prepare for are things like casting. If you're shooting a short film and you cast your actors, you got to make sure that you have your legal end covered. So that means you will need to have release forms for each actor. It can vary. Some productions, they have actors sign the release forms once a day. Some people have just one release form for the entire project, but it is something that is a requirement in most film projects that people are hoping to submit to festivals and that sort of thing. So it's just a good idea to get into that habit. And just like anything else, there's always legalities, especially with the film industry. If you happen to make a good movie and you take it to a festival and somebody wants to buy it, you do not ever accept their first contract offering, because that's like their standard contract offering, which means that they get everything. You got to make sure you have a lawyer there yourself, and you make sure that lawyer looks over that contract, and so that you can counter with that. A lot of filmmakers get trapped in not doing that, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Hasn't happened with us yet because we're like way too small scale, but we still have releases for all of our actors, and we have them stored away in a fireproof lockbox.
Steve's wondering what a release form is.
A release form, basically, it's when you have an actor sign a release form, it's saying that they are giving you the right to show this film that has their images and their performances in it in locations like a film festival, like a movie theater, like if channel picks it up as a bumper in between programs, that sort of thing. Because if you don't, then they could sue you, especially if you end up getting paid for those. If you don't have a waiver for them, then they can sue you for, well, you didn't tell me that my image was going to be on such and such, this and that. You have to have this legal document that says, okay, this is what this is, and this film may be shown on this platform or at this festival or whatever, and you are consenting to let us show this that has your image in it. So it's just, above board, you're honest with them at the beginning, and it will really save your butt. And let's see. Oh, there's a lot to learn before you go out and do things like location shooting. I'm not really the best authority on this because all of our films we shot inside our little studio when we had it. But location some people, when they do location shooting, they like to do it guerrilla style, where they just like go out. They have a couple people scout around to make sure there aren't any cops nearby, and then they film the scene and then go. But if
That
you
can get you in trouble.
yeah. So if you can raise a budget enough to hire staff and get someone to draw up the contracts and help with getting the permits to film where you want to film, that will also save you a lot of headache in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Those are my notes on that
Stieg
subject.
Stieg asked, what's the difference between doing it for each day, contrary to using just one for the entire production?
Okay, wait a minute.
Having a release form for each day versus a release
daily
form.
Release form, the whole release form, whole project.
I
can stop.
Well, with a whole release form, you can specify how long the shoot is going to be. But the thing about that is, you have to make sure that you get that project done within the time that you allotted and printed on that form. If you have them sign a release form every day, that's perfectly fine. That way, if for whatever reason the production goes over on time and they have to shoot some more days, they're used to the routine, and you have those waivers for each day. We were just, kind of flying along seat of our pants when we did Anakin's assignment. Fortunately, there were only 2 actors and me in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the student films, it wasn't an issue either. Although we got, no, we didn't need. I can't remember if we did waivers because it was a student film. My husband did a lot of experimental films, and he did get waivers for those. And they were just like 4 or 5 minute art films. So yeah, so I guess it's kind of what kind of risk you want to take with how much time you're going to be spending on the production and whether it looks like the production will get done on time. And so you got to consider that, whether you're going with just one waiver for the whole set time, or if you want to do the waivers every day in case it goes over.
So Audra says she's only signed and seen whole ones. That makes sense for theater production, because your theater production runs on, I think, a more strict time frame, because they got to sell tickets to fill up the booth and it's live performances. So it's like, you do not have the leisure of going over.
Yeah, I prefer just doing it once, because who wants to keep track of all that paperwork, And the actors are just like, didn't I just sign this thing?
Yeah, I have a giant folder at my home, like in a drawer or whatever, with all the actors' contracts from the short film I did.
Stevie's like, I don't want to discuss this thing that exists, but I did it.
Well, it's like short film. Does that mean that it's like only 2 hours long as opposed to 8, or is it like
a hot piece of garbage? That's what it is.
Well, everybody's got to start somewhere.
It was an attempted book trailer. I had some issues with the cinematographer / producer, and yeah,
all right.
That's why I have the contracts.
So Candy actually got the opportunity to observe filming for a movie called Alien Nation, which I will link the wiki page to that.
Yeah, it was actually a TV movie based on the series that was based on the movie.
Gotta love when those are made.
Yeah. So the original Alien Nation movie starred James Caan and Mandy Patinkin. Mandy Patinkin was the alien.
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah. He played an alien. His original name when he came to Earth was Sam Francisco, but they changed it to George because the other character didn't like the cutesiness of it. Anyhow, the movie came out. It was an okay enough hit that they made a TV series out of it that my husband and I just absolutely loved. It was one of the things that brought us together, and as a couple, was our love for Alienation.
Mhm.
So it went on for a few years, and it was great. We loved it, and then it got canceled. And a few years later, they decided, hey, we could make a TV movie out of this. So they did. That was pretty successful. Hey, we can make a second TV movie out of this. And at the time, I was in this sort of program, this mentorship program in Hollywood, where it encouraged you to reach out to people in Hollywood to see if you could come and observe how things are done on a movie set. So the director of the Alienation, both the series and TV movie, is a guy named Ken Johnson. And he said, sure, come on down. So the movie that I went to observe was called Alienation, Body and Soul. So that's what you can look up. And it was shot in a warehouse in downtown LA with no air conditioning. The only places that had air conditioning were like the executive offices.
Of course.
But I mean, when they're filming these things, they're filming them on the cheap. And so they have this warehouse space in LA. So that's where they built the set of the police station and, a couple of the other rooms for like in somebody's house and that sort of thing. And the thing that I stuck with me the most is these are industry professionals that have worked in in television for a long time. So it's like a ballet when they're moving from one scene to another. Like they'll finish shooting a scene inside the precinct, and then they'll say, okay, let's move on to the, I don't know, the cafeteria scene. And so all these union, I can't remember if they're called blockers or something, but all these union guys, they take down all the supports, and they ease the camera down off a ramp, and then they take all of the platforms and the blocks and everything, and they carry that and they wheel the camera into the next room, and then they assemble the platform again. The camera's rolled on top, and it's all like in the space of like almost like 30 seconds. I mean, they are super fast. It's like flying Walinda Brothers, going ho ho ho, and then it's all ready. So that was interesting to see, was just how much it's almost like a ballet, how coordinated they were. And another thing I saw was that on set, the lighting seems really dim. I mean, when you go inside and it's just like, wow, this light is really subdued. How does the camera pick up? Well, I asked him, the director, and he said that they run using very fast film. That way they can turn the lights down low so that it's not as hot. If they were using just regular bright lights, everybody would melt. It would be like most 70s TV shows where everybody's face is shiny. If you go back and look at these TV shows from the 70s, you'll notice it. Everybody just has this kind of glisten on their face. Yeah.
It's like the old version of the ring light eyes, but on your face.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's so much worse.
It's a little more subtle because everybody just kind of looks shiny. So you're like, were they sweating? Do they just have a lot of highlighter on? The ring light eyes can be distracting. But sorry,
I think
go ahead,
ring light
Candy.
eyes are cool.
So it was a great day observing when the scenes were shot and how it worked and how the mechanics worked. And I actually got to see some of the dailies afterward.
Mm-hmm.
It was from their shots from the day before, and I got to watch the dailies, and that was real fascinating to see. Dailies are basically, it's the footage you shot, and you review it. It's like daily footage to see which takes were better than others, which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to discard, which ones you think you need to refilm. It's just basically a review of the footage. And back then, they were still developing on film, so they would have to take the footage they shot, take it to a processor, which I think was out in Pasadena or something, and then get it back and then run it through their either a projector or they'd have it on video and review it on the screen. So it was getting close to the end of the day, and the assistant director, the AD, comes up to me and she says, "Hey, would you like to be in the show?" And I'm like, sure. And she says, good. Some of our extras already went home for the day, and we just realized we need another shot. So what we need you to do is to go around here, and then when they say action, just go up to this counter and talk to the guy on the other side. He's playing a policeman clerk, and you can just like ask for your car keys or something like that. So I'm like, okay. So I went over there. They called action. I went over, acted like I lost my keys. The guy, talked with me a little bit, and you can see that shot in the final film. I mean, it's way in the back, and I'm kind of fuzzy, but I'm in there.
But you're there.
Am in. Yes, and I made $60 whole.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, extra work's paid up.
I
paid for the gas went down
later.
I feel like you're making a joke about $60 whole, and I'm like, oh my god, so much money.
I would do it. There's gonna be at some point this month just a screenshot or a picture with my phone or something. Then I'm just gonna be like, I found the candy, and
yes,
most of my followers are gonna be like, the fuck?
There's no candy in that picture.
What are you talking about? What is this?
This is some lady. No,
old screen thing.
So just if you're on the treasure hunt, I'm wearing a blue shirt, a blue button-down shirt that has white stripes on it. But again, I'm way in the back, and but I'm pretty sure you'll know me when you see me.
Sam's taking fucking notes.
Yes, blue button-down shirt,
short-sleeved.
Short sleeve. That's important.
Yeah.
Short sleeve.
Yeah. There's two police guys in the front of the shot. They're the main guys, and in the background action is where I'm asking for my car keys.
No. They're just blocking your shot because it's your time to shine.
What color is your hair at this point in time? Yeah,
well, my hair alone could have lit the entire production.
So is that vibrantly white or yellow?
It's vibrantly white, but the surrounding brownness of my house is what's making it vibrantly yellow.
Okay, no, I just thought it's white.
I don't know at one point. I just wasn't sure at one point in your life your hair went vibrantly white. That's all.
Or pink.
Super early. It started when I was in high school. I had like this skunk stripe, and then it just sort of took over.
And my Aunt Ruth, her hair also went this very pretty silver white when she was in high school. So.
I want silver white hair. I just have weird.
Too bad, CB, because you keep making fun of old people.
Well, I always thought it was neat
about their hair.
Well, I always thought it was neat that I had like pure silver Steve Martin hair.
Yeah.
My natural father had the the silver fox hair, and so that's where I get it. And
Chris's hair isn't going silver. It's just like his white hairs are just stark white. So he just goes from, because his hair is naturally black, so his hair's just going from black to stark white, and it's amazing. I love it.
That is kind of cool.
And then my mother, who's 46, 47, she still can't get any gray hair, and she's so salty about it. She's like, I am a grandmother and I want gray hair. And I'm like, Mom, you haven't even hit 50 yet. And she's like, I don't care. I have 4 grandkids.
People have asked me where I got this hair color from, because they want that same silver hair. I guess is like apparently in now. It's like, I'm sorry, it's just genetic. It's genetic.
Right. It's like people who dye their hair platinum blonde can get this very pretty like white yellow, which I like, but then there's just this silver white that anytime I see somebody with that hair, I'm like, you are either in your 70s or you grade prematurely in your 20s. There is no in between. Like I've
dyed
so
the silver, like the cool
okay,
silver.
I wanna stop you right there. I didn't gray early, I silvered early.
Fair. Premature silvered.
Yes.
But it's my favorite shade of hair color. Like I always envied it as a younger person. So but yeah, I've never seen anybody actually obtain that hair color through dye. I've seen a lot of people try, but but it's always like Call Me Chris on TikTok has a similar shade, but it's still like
Your
I
favorite
can
person?
still tell.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can tell like the
tell.
little roots coming in, you know.
I have just when I got my hair dyed, I have a random like white platinum streak in the middle of it.
Mhm.
That hair dye experience was.
I low key am thinking of trying to convince Chrissy to re-dye parts of my hair blue. I'm like, it looks so pretty, but I don't trust anybody else.
I
love that
want to
picture
dye
that you
my
sent.
hair blue or purple or something so bad, but I can't do it because of the job I'm at.
Oh,
You know, all of my friends, all my really good friends, they have shocking blue hair. One of them has this beautiful purple to pink ombre, and I just like, oh, you guys suck.
I was about to say, go blue with me, Candy, but you.
Yeah, I want to so much.
Okay, so I think. All right, Candy had some extra stuff, some interesting movies to watch. So if you want to go ahead and give those, and then we'll wrap it up for the night.
Okay, yeah, these are some fun movies that you may have heard of or may not. They're all fun to watch. At least they are to me. There's a movie. Oh, that's a Western from Thailand. It's called Tears of the Black Tiger, and it's set in Thailand with Thai people, but it's a Western. And it is bloody, but it's kind of like Monty Python bloody, so it was I could take it. What was that?
Tis but a scratch.
Tis but a scratch, yeah. So I think that I saw that Tears of the Black Tiger was on Amazon Prime. I think you can find it there, or maybe you can rent it from there. Okay, now I pretty much hate horror films, but there's this one horror film that is my favorite, and it's called Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. And disclaimer, there are no actual children in this movie. It was made by a pre-Porky's, pre-Christmas Story Bob Clark. Back in the early days, he and this guy named Alan Ormsby made all these, low-budget movies. This was one of them. And the reason why I love this movie so much is it isn't so much a horror movie as it is a character study. It's this group of theater actors and their director, and they all go to this island for just like fun and games and, I don't know, digging up people from an old cemetery there or whatever. And the thing is that every person in this movie is absolutely terrible. They all are. Even the ones that you start feeling slightly sympathetic, you're like, no, she's worthless too. And it ends up being a zombie movie, but there's like hardly any blood or whatever. It's really a good, fascinating character study. If you saw Knives Out,
Yeah.
where the whole family was just really awful.
They're hilarious.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that where they're just all just terrible, and it's sort of becoming like one of my favorite subgenres is the movie where everybody in it, the suspects or whatever it is, they're all just awful people. And it's just like, where's the one good person? And sometimes there isn't any. So that's that.
I love those kind of whodunits.
Yeah.
Everyone's evil.
So Fred and I watched a lot of films. Some of them were French films. We love anything with a French actor named Denis Lavant. And a couple of movies that he's in that are in English is one called Mr. Lonely that was made by Harmony Korine. There is a director that he works with called Leos Carax, and he made a movie called Lovers on the Bridge and another one called Holy Motors. They are weird movies. They're French. Denis Lavant is amazing. If you're at all interested in strange but moving French cinema, I highly recommend that. And also, oldie but goodie, The Outsiders. Francis Ford Coppola's version of The Outsiders. Not just for the story, which is great, but he also does some interesting things with the camera. He does a lot of Dutch angles and that sort of thing. So it was
the YA with Ponyboy.
Yes, with Ponyboy. That's the one. So yes, it's a really good adaptation. So I recommend that. And I think that's it for all of my notes.
Sweet.
I made it through.
Yeah.
Also, remember, everyone who hasn't seen it, Hocus Pocus! It's on Disney Plus. We've all, well, probably most of us have given money to the corporate devil, so just watch Hocus Pocus on it. All right. So that's everything. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Well, let me check chat real quick. Background acting is the best. I've only done stage stuff, but it's funniest stuff. Fake conversations for the win. Yes, that's so much fun. Love some salt and pepper action, right? Like, it's great. Okay, so go ahead, do your outros.
Okay, I am Candy Glynn Wilder. I am a fantasy writer and filmmaker. You can catch me at all the links below. My films are all available on my website that I have also not updated for months and months, but all my films are there. And I am floating around on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. And I am really happy that I got to be here today.
Don't you have a book coming out this year?
Not this year, but I am still working on Mark of the Champion. It is at the Sensitivity Reader right now. So, and after that, it will be going into regular, the regular revisions and proofing and all that happy fun stuff, developmental edit. I am aiming for it to be published in late summer to early fall of 2022.
Nice.
Sweet. Which you can find all of her links and all the things down below, properly labeled. CB, your turn.
I'm CB Ferrenz, young adult fantasy writer. What else am I? I did it so well at the beginning. College student and teenager. On my channel, I talk about how those three things come together, or rather, do not. Yeah, I make skits, do live streams, and give some semi-reliable writing advice. You can find me down below.
And she's got some hella pink hair right now, which
just
looks
yeah.
It's a little reveal for everyone that made it to the end of the live stream. You get to see the fully pink hair.
Totally 80s hair.
Talk this shit talking me in DMs now. All right. So hello, CB stuff is also all linked down below.
And I have a live stream with Sam this Thursday.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna be all the places this week. I just remembered Thursday. Yeah, I'm here, and then Wednesday I'll be on Jessica Williamson's channel. We'll be talking about the Worldwide Writeathon. I should probably link that in the description. I'll fix that after the stream ends. And
on Thursday
I'll be on CB's channel. I'll also link that in the description after the stream. So just like wait 5 minutes after it ends, and you'll be able to have all the links. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for watching on the rewatch. This is my channel. I'm Writing Mom Samantha and Nasset, where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer parent things. You can follow all things Sam in my newsletter via my website down below, samanthaalnasset.com. I have a Ko-fi, which is linked down below if you would like to help support the channel. And
give Sam money.
Yes. I think that's everything. I think that's the things.
I think so.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.